over it, but that's okay because that is all he need. With a shout he used his fist that is on her guts to launch her away from him. Aya ag. Madrid's eyes widened as she got launched hard by John. This kid. She then skid on the floor and come to an abrupt stop as her back hit the cave's wall. I got you to take this seriously, didn't I, John? She grinned at him with her while electricity continued to cloak her body like a suit of armor. If it were any other person to use this move, it would be stupid to do it for long period of times because of the severe aura drainage, but because of her blood as an arc and the absurd aura amount she got from it, she can use this comfortably for a few minutes before her aura get to red. Why don't you use that reinforcement of yours? You can't beat me without it now, John. I practiced this move in secret just for you, John. So use it now. She shouted at him with a hint of anger and excitement coating her voice. The reason why she wanted John to use his reinforcement is because of her feelings of inadequacy as a fighter. John had completely stopped using reinforcement for more than a year ago. Not even the lowest level of reinforcement. And he still beat her every time without it. Her pride as a fighter and big sister is at stake. She had to make John use it or it only cement her feelings that she isn't enough for John. She need to be better for John. What kind of big sister want to fail her little brother? Her eyes widen in hope when she sees John stand still and take a deep breath. Maybe. Just maybe he will use it again. But her hope shattered when she sees John shakes his head. No, Mordred. If I used aura reinforcement, then it would be too easy. None of us will learn anything. John let out a sigh before he put on the fool's guard with both hands on his sword pointing downward. He knows how much she wanted him to take him seriously, but he can't. Not only would the fight be meaningless, he would actually hurt Mordred more because of the boost in strength. She knows that it will be too easy, but she can't accept it. How could she accept it? She refused to accept it. She knows she's strong, but compared to John she's not good enough. She refused to not be good enough. John then launched himself forward into Mordred. Mordred, seeing this, took this chance to take a revenge at John by upping her coat into 2000 volts to boost her speed even more. With both her body and sword coated with her semblance, she launched herself to meet John halfway with her sword pointed straight to him, lightning spear. Her body is now akin to a lightning streak with how fast it is compared to before. With her sword pointed straight towards him, this had practically turned her into a spear made out of lightning. I'll make you use it, John. That's an arc, promise. John then concentrate his aura and channel his lowest level of aura reinforcement and slide his sword against hers, redirecting it to hit the air beside him as he moves closer to her. He had to use aura reinforcement because her speed now far outclass his without reinforcement. Her eyes widen at the use of the reinforcement, but she can't be happy for long because with her now outstretched arms missed John. He grab her arm and pull her closer and use it to spin his body around her and smack the pommel of his sword to the back of her head, making her smack face first into the ground. The ground explode with the impact of her head on the floor and her semblance disappear as she can feel that her aura is on the verge of breaking. She then used all of her remaining strength to pull her head out of the ground. John stopped using reinforcement and grabbed her by her shoulder. Are you okay, Mordred? Did you aura break? He feared that he had used too much strength because it's been a really long time since he used his reinforcement in a fight. Mordred gave him a wide grin. Made you use it, John. That's a win in my book. She may had lost the battle, but she win the war. And that make her want to cry because after more than a year, she finally managed to make him use it again. She had trained in secret from him for months now to use that special move. Finally, all of her hard work staying up until dawn bore fruits. Stop it, Mordred, you can't cry in front of him, not like last time. You can't look weak ever again. Even though she is trying her hardest to hide her feelings, John can see it clearly enough. Damn it, John. You made her sad. He then helped her up. You surprised me, Mordred, especially with grabbing my shoulder. I should expect it, but you took me by surprise. Mordred nodded at him. Of course you fell for it, fool. I call that move Thunder Cross sheer heart attack. She yelled out while making an X symbol with her arm. Yeah. Yeah. Thunder Cross sheer heart attack, huh? That's a mouthful. He shakes his head and walked to pick up her sword. So Madrid, other than that, did you get any more progress on your aura training? He asked her while he walked to the weapons rack and store their swords. She nodded at him. Yeah, here look. She show him her forearm and closes her eyes. After a few seconds her forearm started glowing. Look. I can do this now after only a few seconds. Her aura shattered and she stumbled back. Madrid. You're okay? John ran up to her and before he can reach her she raised a palm to stop him. Yeah. I'm okay. It's just because of our sparring. That's all. I forgot to let my aura regenerate for a few more minutes before I show you my progress. She then chuckled and sit down on the ground. Let me take a breather for a second. Breaking your aura feels like shit. John chuckled before he decided to sit down next to her. I know. I felt that too when I unlocked my aura. Literally couldn't do anything. How about you, John? What's your progress? She turned her head to look at him and sees him just looking at the entrance of the cave. Me? I'm fine, I guess. He lied to Mordred. He had hit a bottleneck. He thought he could get a breakthrough with his aura training, but he had hit a bottleneck because the lack of opponent. The only person he had fought with was Mordred, and fighting the same person for years and years isn't good for anyone. It'll stagnate their progress. It would be a different story if the opponent is way stronger, but John is much stronger than Mordred. She can't help him that much anymore compared to when he was a lot younger. And for his aura reinforcement progression? He is doing pretty good. He had managed to make 3 different levels for it. Reinforcement is dangerous to use on its own, so he had to create a new aura technique to help him use it much safer than before. He called this technique structural analysis. The way he used structural analysis is like how a bat use echolocation, but the difference being is that a bat used the sound wave while he used his aura wave. By sending a really faint aura wave to something he touched, he can see the inside. It's kinda like XRAY, but not that much better. With using structural analysis, it helped him put the perfect amount of aura into something. It's the reason why some of the thing he used reinforcement into exploded. It's because he used too much aura for the object to handle and it resulted in an explosion. Structural analysis helped him put aura into it much better than without. This also applied to his own body. The most complicated thing he had used both aura and reinforcement was his left eye. The risk of blinding himself was high, but he can't become stronger by not being risky. At that time, because of aura reinforcement, his left eye can basically see up to 10 kilometers away with ease, but it hunted him too much to the point that he can only maintain it for a few seconds lest he explode his eyes. He should expected that his eyes is much more delicate than his body, but hey, at least it didn't explode. It only blurred his vision on his left eye for a few hours. Nothing that bad. As for the 3 levels of aura reinforcement, it goes like this. First level, enhance the overall function of the thing that has been reinforced. X, bones become tougher and muscle becomes stronger. Time limit, 2 hours. Aura overall percentage on the body ratio, 5%. Second level, this is more dangerous because he is filling the object that he is reinforcing with about 25% aura to object ratio. X, could see up to 10 kilometers away clearly and punching through a log with ease. Time limit, 15 minutes. And the currently most dangerous level he half managed to reach is the 3rd level. He first used this when he awakened his aura. The backlash of using this is severe. He broke his bones and torn my muscle apart as the backlash of using this for less than 15 seconds when he first unlocked his aura. X, sees the world as if it's a slow motion and moving so fast that the world is a blur to you, but without proper reinforcement management he could risk tearing his muscles apart like last time. Time limit, 30 seconds. Aura overall percentage on the body ratio, 35% with enough training and use. He thinks that he could up the time limit, but that is problem for future John. Madrid. Do you want to help me with something? Madrid then looked at him with an eyebrow raised. With what? I want to run away. She spun her entire body at him in shock and grabbed his shoulders. What? What? Mordred shouted and grabbed John's shoulder and started to shake him. Are you out of your goddamned mind? She continues to shake him, making John's head become a fucking wobblehead. Wait, Mordred, let me explain. John tried to explain to her, but Mordred just shake him harder. Explain what? That you want to run away like a dumbass. She shake him harder, this stupid kid. John sighs and let her shake him. She's already exhausted because of breaking her aura. Well, hopefully it doesn't take too long. At this point I'll get whiplash or something. John thinks to himself while his head is shaking back and forth like he is listening to rock music. Mordred would probably be used to shake her head like this. She loves rock music. What was that band name again that she had a poster for in her bedroom? Ironica? Yeah. Ironica. After a minute of shaking John, Mordred is panting out of breath and is frankly exhausted from everything. From the sparring. And also from turning John into a wobblehead. Shit, my arm is sore. Mordred thought to herself while rubbing her shoulder, what is this kid made out of? Oh yeah. Stupidity. So. Can I explain now? John asked her while rubbing his head to try and soothe the dizziness. You better explain good or I'm turning you into a grim bait. Mordred glared at him. Promise to me that it's not because of something stupid like you want to be away to open your horizon or some shit. John let out a soft laugh which he quickly stopped when Mordred glared at him. Okay, I promise. An arc promise. Mordred's eyes widened before she looked at him approvingly. Go on. Explain. You know how people generally need to graduate combat school before they can attend the academy, right? John asked her, in which she nodded at him. Yeah, we need to go to combat school. But sometimes there's a few exceptions in the academy. For example, in Beacon you don't exactly need to attend combat school, but you need to get tested by the professors there before you even join the initiation, and you need to have your aura unlocked before even the test begin. The professor there won't unlock your aura for you. And in Atlas, if you never get formal training or a combat school, then you're shit out of luck. The best you can do is become a soldier, because people who don't go to combat school generally never get their aura unlocked. And to get your aura unlocked by another person is really personal. Considering we're using our soul to reach to another person's soul. Mordred explained even further for him. Yeah. Well. I want to run away to join a combat school. John explained to her about why he wants to run away. So. You want to run away to join a combat school. Why? With how you are now, you can wait a few years and try to join Beacon. Mordred tell him, but he shake his head. But I can't join Beacon. Dad and the headmaster there is really close. The headmaster will tell Dad and he will come to take me home before I could even take the invitation. John let out a tired sigh. So I can't go to Beacon, that's why I need to go to a combat school to attend the other academy. Shit. I forgot about that. Mordred tell to herself before she look at John again. The only combat school that is near here other than the one that I attend to is at Patch. Which is? Signal? Yeah, Signal. That could work too. John shake his head again. No, it's too close. And Dad used to go to Signal, so it's a big risk if I go there considering I look like Dad when he was my age. And I also need to bring my birth certificate and other things to register there. Can't exactly hide where I am if my identity is registered on the combat school. With Dad's connection he would easily find me there. And he could also have some friends in Patch considering he grows up there before he moved into Orleans after marrying Mom. Shit. Then where then? I don't know any other places. You really don't have much choice. Mordred then rests her chin under her fist and start to think. Wait. I know you're a smart boy, John. You wouldn't tell me this if you hadn't found the right place. Mordred looks back to John. Yeah, I have found the place. It's Shade. John revealed to Mordred and her eyes widen. Shade? Are you dumb? Shade as in Vacuo Hunter Academy. That's not a combat school, you stupid dimwit. They slapped the back of John's head, which she quickly regret when his aura automatically activate and it feels like she's hitting a concrete wall with her palm. Shit, that hurt, you dumb fuck. Well, I didn't tell you to hit me, did I? John laughed softly and shakes his head. Yeah, Shade the Hunter Academy. What do you know about Vacuo, Mordred? John then gra Mordred's palm and start to massage it to soothe the pain away. Shit, this kid is too good to be true. Mordred thinks to herself before she answered John. Vacuo is some desert wasteland where it's all lawless and shit. The government got almost no fucking power then, and it's the best place for rogue hunters and shit. And also the Grim there is generally much more dangerous considering the terrain, they can hide under the sand and set up an ambush. And everyone there is dirt poor. Yeah. You're right about all of that. But that is why I want to go there. John tell Mordred and the answers he get from her is one that basically screamed that he's stupid. That still doesn't explain shit, dumbass. You're not a rogue hunter, and that still doesn't explain about how you can get into Shade, you're 12 years old. You could only get into a hunter academy at 16 or 17. She wants to smack the back of John's head again, but she doesn't because it frankly hurt and it also feels good having her hand being massaged by John. She knew that it's a good reason that she alongside Saffron and Artoria teach John on how to massage. She then chuckled and thinks about the time where John basically become the 3 oldest sisters' masseuses. Well, it's because of the fact that the government don't have much power in Vacuo and the lack of funds. John tell her before he continued to explain more before she could speak up. Shade Academy as of last year had become a combat school too because of the lack of funding and the need for more manpower to combat the Grim there. Mordred's eyes widened and nodded. Oh. I always know you're a smart boy, John. But don't you also need to register your identity there? John shake his head again. No, because there's a lot of street orphans at Vacuo. Shade Academy just need a name and age. No government identity. So that meant I could just give a fake name and I would be in as long as I got aura. Which I do. Mordred then sigh. You're really serious about this, aren't you? She then used her free hand to cover John's hand on her other hand. John stops for a few seconds before he look at her. Yeah. I need to become a hunter, Mordred. I got the power. I got the responsibility. If I don't do it then if somebody need help and I'm not there then it's my fault if they got hurt, Mordred. He then sighs again. And I have dreams, Mordred. Like a dream where I am in a war. I always wear the same armor and wielded the same sword. The sword is so beautiful, Mordred. The most beautiful sword I had ever seen. Mordred looked at him weirdly but she doesn't stop him from talking. And there was always those 2 people. A blonde woman who can wield magic and also a brown-haired knight. They were always with me in the battlefields. They don't get along well, they always bicker about different opinion. John the look at Mordred waiting if she want him to stop talking or continue. Go on. Continue. Why did they fight? Well. The woman is too cold, I guess. She doesn't care about what happened as long as her goal is done, even if it meant hurting people. But the brown-haired knight doesn't like that. He always thinks that if the journey hurts a lot of innocent people then whatever comes in the end even if it's good, it still won't be right. I then let out a sigh. And since when did you got this dreams, John? She asked him while holding his hand. Since I unlocked my aura. It's not exactly a full-on dreams. Just a few seconds of it before I wake up. Never more than 20 or 30 seconds, I guess. John then leaned back and looked at the cave walls. Am I going crazy? Mordred chuckled and shook her head. Crazy? No. Stupid? Always. But what about you, John? What did you do in those dreams? John then let out a hum. I think I was a commander. Or a general at least. They both always follows my order to the letter, and the woman is overzealous to me, I guess. Like she will go above and beyond to follow my order, sometimes at the expense of innocent people. John answered her. So. You're dreaming of being a general with a cold bitch and a soft night. That's a wild dream, I guess, John. And you been dreaming about this since that night? He nodded at her. Well. I guess the great Mordred Ark have no choice other than helping you, I guess. She looks at him smugly, even though in her heart she felt a stabbing pain at the thought of him leaving her. Maybe I also need to go to Shade. Someone had to make sure that this idiot doesn't do some idiot's shit. Wait. How are you going to Vacuo anyway? You either had to sail to there, which would take weeks, walk to Vacuo, which would take months, or fly there, which would take days. Are you dumb? Mordred looked at him like he's stupid for not thinking ahead. Well, about that. I have a plan. Chapter 19. Oh my goo off. Okay. What's the plan? If it's something stupid, I'm tying you up on a log and make you ride the waterfall. Mordred threatened John, but they both know that it's just empty air considering her grin. With that brain of his, he probably already have a good start for a plan. How good it would be. Would probably better than mine. Mordred thinks to herself because of her experience with John, she knew that he is objectively smarter than her. Not that she would ever admit to it, it would be a cold day in hell if she ever admit that she is inferior at anything to anyone. You remember Mr. Rock? John asked her and is slightly a little afraid if she forgot about Mr. Rock considering they talked about him about 15 minutes ago. Dwayne, you mean? Still can't believe that he has such a stupid last name. So what's up with him and your plan? She crossed her arms and tilted her head at him. Well, I overheard him talking about sailing to Vacuo because he have a big job to drop of some stuff there by a merchant. John tell her about what he heard from the last time John was with Dwayne. That's. Are you planning on hopping on the boat? Are you dumb? Won't he caught you? Some tick mark appear on her forehead, but overall, the reaction he got from her isn't as bad as he expected. John expect her to start throwing hands and hurt herself. Well. Yeah. But. I also have a plan for that. John tell her, which she just look at him and wait for him to explain even further. He is going to sail to Vacuo in about 2 months' time. And with me helping around the town, it wouldn't be strange if I help him with storing away the stuff he is going to send to Vacuo. I could. You know. Make a place big enough for my body and my own supply to last until I arrive at Vacuo. John hummed. It'll be a tight fit, but I'm not that big either, so it's okay. I could fit in between the boxes. Mordred then stay silent and let out a sigh. You're really going through this, aren't you? John nodded at her. Yeah. Shit. You do know what that mean, right? She asked John again. Yeah. I know. John look away from her. Look at me, John. She grabbed his face and turned it toward her. Look at me and tell me that you know what will happen. I know, Mordred. I know. Mom will be sad. Hell, the whole family is going to be sad. But I have no other choice, okay? Dad will never let me go to combat school. Vacuo is my only choice, Mordred. He answered her. After a couple of seconds of silence, Mordred then looked go of his face and look away. Okay. But on one condition. What is it? You're taking me with you. She then looked back at him and tell him straight in the eyes. His eyes widened before John let out a sigh. No. I can't do that, Mordred. Mordred frowned at him. Why? Why can't I go with you? Because it'll make it harder, okay? If it's only me, then it's easier to hide. Dad don't know that I have an aura or a semblance, but Dad knows about your semblance and aura. John tell her before he grab her hands. With his connection to the headmaster from Beacon, it would be easy for him to ask the headmaster to look for a blonde girl with a red-colored aura with the semblance that is red electricity alongside a 12-year-old blonde boy tagging along. The headmaster most likely would have found us within months, because a man with that high as a position would surely have people have connection within vacuo. Mordred look at John's hand before she scoffs. And you think it won't be easier for him to find you? John nodded at her. Yes. It would take more than for my hair color and eye color to find me, Mordred. John then sigh. The biggest advantages I have is that he doesn't know that I have aura. And I need you here, Mordred, to help me. Help with what? I can't help you without being with you, dumbass. Mordred glared at him. I need you to distract him or give him false clues. He wouldn't know that I hide inside Mr. Rock's ship and sail away to Vacuo. He would have thought that I had gone through the woods. John then squeezed her hand harder. Please, Mordred. For me, please. And I need you to take care of Mom too. Please. Mordred looked at his eyes and tried to fight through John's puppy eyes, but after a grueling 10 seconds she looks away and concede defeat. Okay. Okay. I'll stay. But in the next 2 months. I want you to spend more time with me and the rest of the family. This could be the last time you see us for the next few years, John. Mordred then pulled John into a tight hug. John let out a relieved sigh and rest his chin on her shoulder. I will, Mordred. Ark's promise. Mordred then continued to hug John for a little while longer before she pulled away. By the way, John. Wouldn't it be easier for you if you fake your death? Mordred told John casually, as if it's fucking normal. Huh? What? John asked her, completely dumbfounded. I mean, it would take days, maybe even a week, before Dad know that you're not lost in the woods. And it wouldn't take much thinking to know that you run away. Mordred nodded to herself, because to her, her explanation is frankly genius. Well, what can she say except that it's normal for the great Mordred Ark to be a genius. And if you fake your death, like leave a few strands of ripped clothes covered with your blood, he would stop searching for you. Or he would search for you, but he won't have as much support, cause the others would think that he is just a father that refused to acknowledge that his son is dead. Mordred explained to John, and she expected him to look at her with a proud expression at how genius her plan is, but what she found when she looked at his face is a pale expression with an open mouth. That's cruel, Mordred. John then gulped his saliva. It would hurt Mom and Dad too much. I would already hurt them, but I can't hurt them that much. He shakes his head and his face starts to turn back to normal. John shakes his head and grabs her shoulder. Nope. We won't be doing that. We'll stick to my plan. John then starts to shake her by her shoulder. Okay? Okay. Okay. I can't hear you. Okay. I give up. I'm going to vomit. I still can't hear you. Blug. What? Mordred. You actually puke on me. Serve you right. Chapter 20. I repeat, Chapter 20. Third person POV, that boy. Where is he up to now? It's past his usual hours. Luna thought to herself while she starts to cook dinner. She then looked at the clock on the wall and reads it. It's 7 p.m. now. He is usually home by 6:30 with Mordred. Is Mordred dragging him into one of her rebellious acts? Her eyes widen and she let out a tired sigh. After a few seconds she shake her heads to shake away the thought of John wearing a leather jacket while having a bunch of piercing. No. Luna. No. John is not a boy like that. He is a kind and loving boy. He won't ever do that. Luna then look at the pan and continue to cook. And I should never think of Mordred dragging John to do those stuff. Mordred may be rebellious but she isn't like that. Wait. If she did. Is it my karma? No, it can't be. Right? When I was a teenager, I did a lot worse thing than what Mordred did. I joined a gang and bullied my schoolmates. Luna's face pales and she swallowed her saliva. But just before Luna can spiral down by her own thought, her body jolted as a hand touched her shoulder. Wah! She then jumped and looked behind her and see her husband raising an eyebrow at her. Miles! You scared me. Luna shouted at him while he hold her chest and start to breath. I almost have a heart attack, you buffoon. Miles raised his hands up in surrender. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. But you can't blame me for this. So who do I blame? You're the only one that's here. I thought you were training Jean. After a few seconds she calms down and turn her back on him to focus on cooking the food or else she could forget out the cooking and burn the food. I already finished training Jean for today, she's going to the bathroom to wash up and clean herself. He then chuckled before he go up right behind her and wrap his hand around her waist. Miles. Stop that. You know we can't do it again. Luna turned her head and looked up to him. Miles meanwhile let out a chuckle before he kissed her. Well. I know we can't do that. But can't I do this? He kissed her cheeks and hugged her tighter. Luna giggled and flicked her finger at Miles' hands. Stop that, or I'll burn the food. Okay, honey, even though Miles say that he still didn't let go of her, which resulted in her letting out a fond sigh and try to focus on cooking. Have you seen John and Mordred? She asked him, which he answered with a shake of his head. No, last time I saw both of them was at breakfast. He then let out a sigh and kissed her ear. Even without saying anything, Luna knows what's eating up his mind. Miles. It's been years now. Stop beating yourself. Luna looks up at her husband because she knows that her beloved husband is still feeling guilty for what he did to John. I know, Luna. But I still feel guilty, you know. I just imagine my own father doing that to me. It's devastating, he sighs again. No wonder Mordred hated me. She even unlocked her semblance because she was angry at me. I think she was genuinely trying to kill me. Did you see her face while she used her semblance on me? He then looked at her with a pout so not suited for his face and stature. Luna chuckled and pinched his cheek. Well, it is also kinda your fault. Well, to her and anyone else in the family it's pretty obvious why Mordred did what she did. But sadly the male side of the Ark family isn't known for being much smarter than the girls. Hopefully John didn't get this kind of problem because Luna is already feeling bad for John's future girlfriend. What? How? The look on his face already told Luna everything. He is still as dense as ever. Luna let out a tired sigh before she pinched his cheek harder. Miles. What was the reason? Did Mordred fight with you? No, scratch that. What is the biggest reason Mordred always get mad at you? John? He answered. Good boy. Luna let go of his cheek and pat it. Mordred isn't mad at you because you wronged her or anything, Miles. She's mad at you because of what you did to John. As she expected, her husband's mood falls again. I know. But what can I do? I already tried my best to train him, but not a single of my teaching sticks to him, Luna. He hugged her tighter. Well, teach him harder then. He's your son. Our son. You should never give up on him. She shouted at him because even though deep in her heart, she is still confused on why did he gave up on John. Well, I got my hands full. I was training both Artoria and Mordred while also doing missions. I can't do all of that while also training John alongside preparing to train Jean. He tried to justify himself, but even it sounds fake to his own ears, let alone Luna's. Luna glared at him. Miles, I know you since I was 17 years old. I know that not enough to make you give up. Miles grit his teeth before he snaps. I don't want him to die. Okay. If he become a huntsman he will die. He's not suited to be one. Her eyes widen and before she can talk he cut her off. Every time I look at him, I sees my father, Luna. He shouted at her. I can't see him die too, Luna. I can't. The way he hold his sword. The way he moved. I just can't. He is just like my father, Luna. I can't watch him die too. Miles hugged her even tighter to the point that she feared that he would break her ribs. She wanted to pull his arms away, but she stopped herself when she can feel him shaking and her shoulder starts to get wet. Miles. I can't, Luna. I don't want him to die too. He's my only son. I can't, Chappie 21 Happy New Year. Well, it took us a while to start trying to get back home, considering we need to wait a bit for Mordred's aura to regenerate and me drying my shirt as best as I can after I wash the vomit off it. Are you sure you're okay, Mordred? I asked her because I am genuinely worried about her. I always make sure to stop any of our previous training match before she could break her aura. I think I never broke my aura before. Well, I guess I did broke my aura when I first awakened it. It doesn't feels any good. Even when I was training my reinforcement and experimenting with it, I always stopped just before I could break my aura. Whenever I'm on the verge of breaking my aura, I got a little tingle in my chest. I asked Mordred about it once and she said that yeah, she feels it too, but sometimes it's too faint for her to feel and she missed it, just like when she broke her aura when she tried to show me her aura control. Yeah, I'm good. Just shut up and walk. She give me look that basically threatened that she will punch my face if I ask her one more time. Well, I guess I can't fault her for that. I did ask her about how she's feelings a few times. Well, closer to a dozen times, but hey, I'm a worried little brother. Okay. But we really should get back home faster though, we're gonna be late to dinner. And we'll probably make Mom worry considering that we never come home this late. I let out a sigh and hook an arm under her knees and back. I am practically princess carrying her. She starts to squirm like a worm in my hold. Hey! Put me down, dumbass. I ain't no fucking girl you can carry. She squirmed even harder, but that only makes me tighten my hold on her. Mordred. We need to go home fast. We don't want them to be suspicious of us considering that we planned on my getaway in 2 months. I give her my most convincing look to make her understand. Please, Mordred. For me. Please. She looks into my eyes for a few seconds before she sighs and stops squirming. Okay. Now shut the fuck up and just walk. I smiled at her. Walked? Who's talking about walking? I then put my low-level reinforcement on my thighs and legs. Wah, hold on tight. Without waiting for her to react to my words, I jumped onto the tree and start to jump from trees to trees. Hold on. Let me down. Let me down, you bastard. She circled her arms around my neck and started screaming. Aha! I started to laugh. What's wrong, Mordred? Can't handle a little speed. This not speed, you dumbass. You're fucking jumping like a monkey. She hold on to my neck even harder. Don't let me go. And if I'm sick I'm going to vomit on you again. My eye twitch cause talking about vomit. My shirt is still wet cause I had to wash it on the waterfall. Well, I guess it's fine now considering her shirt is also a little wet though cause of me carrying her. Please don't vomit again. Her answer to my request is a laugh. Why did I put up with her in the first place? Oh yeah. Because I love her. I put her down on the ground after rushing through the forest by jumping from trees to trees for 20 minutes straight, and by the look at how dark it is, IRS probably close to 8 p.m. now. Making a what would be an hour and 30 minutes of walking time and turning it into 20 minutes. That's what I call time-saving efficiency, baby. But I don't think Mordred agree with it, considering. Well. Look at her. I start to pat her back. Let it all out, Mordred. Let it all out. Bwee. She continued to vomit into our trash bin on our front yard. Come on. We're here now. Look at the bright side. At least you can eat more considering your stomach is empty. I tried to cheer her up, which. Silly me, I should had known not to. 'Cause she punched my face, which doesn't do much 'cause my aura activate on its own. Can you stop hitting me, please? I don't want the other to accidentally find out that I have aura 'cause you punched me. I continue to pat her back 'cause I honestly also felt bad for her. All she did to answer me is simple. She gave me the middle finger while she wiped her mouth by grabbing the bottom of my shirt and use it as a towel. Hey! That's my shirt, fuck off. Responsibility is a bitch. Well. I guess I am kinda responsible for this considering I was the one who made her vomit. But that still doesn't change the fact that it's still my shirt she's using. What? Got a problem? She didn't give me a chance to answer her 'cause she just straight up walked to the door and leaving me behind in the front yard. Guess I need to put on a new pair of shirt, I guess. I then get inside the house and see her walking straight into the dining room. I stop by the stair and raised an eyebrow because the house is strangely quiet. Well, hopefully it's nothing bad. When I enter my room, I hummed as go to my closet and open it. This'll do. I smirked and grabbed my Pumpkin Pete's hoodie that I won by collecting 40 of the cereal box and send it on the mail. I heard Pumpkin Pete is trying to use hunters to promote their brand, but they got rejected. Hopefully they got a hunter to promote their cereal in the future. I wish them the best of luck 'cause they're my favorite cereal brand. I then take off my shirt and put on a plain white shirt I grabbed 'cause it's the closest to me before I put on the hoodie over it. What would Mordred say again? Oh yeah, I look fresh. I give the mirror on my closet a finger gun and a smile. Names Arc John Arc, short. Sweet. Rolls of the tongue. Ladies loves it. I tried to do my Spus Willis impersonation from that Veil spy movie that Mordred dragged me to watch in the theater the other day. If she heard me now she would laugh her heads off. I shake my head with a laugh before I get out of my room. I start humming to the tune of one of Mordred's favorite song. I think it's called A Little Piece of Hell. Well, I forgot what the title exactly is, but the animation is unique to say the least. When I reach the dining room, I stop at the entrance and tilt my head because the feelings is just wrong. Everyone is quiet. Even Mordred and Noir is quiet. Something's wrong. What is happening? Did something bad happen? Stupid John. Obviously something bad happened. I sit down at my usual seat, which is obviously right next to Mordred. When I sit down, I start look at the others to try and see what's actually happening. Jean is eating quietly but not without her gentle presence. It's like she is trying to hide. Saffron for once isn't reading with a book or something next to her, she's just eating. Mom is feeding Olivia, but her mouth is in a tight line like she is trying to act as if everything is normal but isn't confident enough to talk without stuttering. Noir is quiet sitting next to Blanchard without her usual energetic self, which would bounce on her seat 'cause she can't stay still, and Blanchard is much quieter. Much more quieter than usual. The most shocking sight and also the most likely cause for this whole situation is Dad. He's. Why? Why is his eyes red and puffy? Did he cry? What happened? I turn my eyes to look at Mordred and she looks back with the same exact confused expression on my face. My eyes widen in horror as I think of what could make Dad cry. No. No. Artoria. Did something happen to her? Did she got hurt? I look at Mom and open my mouth. Mom. Did something happen to Artoria? Is she hurt? My question even got Mordred to flinch and look at Mom with worries. Mom's eyes widened before she shook her head. No, nothing happened to Artoria. She is just fine. If nothing happened to her, then what is the problem? What the hell did we just missed? Chappie 22. Dinner is silent to say the least. It turns out that it's really hard for someone to strike a conversation when their fathers had just cried before dinner. I tried multiple times to start a conversation with anyone. Even with Blanchard. Blanchard. My quiet sister. I was so in need of anyone that I struck up a conversation with someone that would not talk in this kind of situation. Awawawawawawawawa. Mercy. Mercy. I plead mercy. This is not fair. First of all, I don't know what's happening. And second of all, I don't know what happened. At this point, if a grim just crashed through the roof and land right onto our dinner table is much preferable than whatever is happening is. So, John. How's your day? My eyes widen as I hear Jean's voice. Oh. My goodness. My sweet angel. Jean. You're an angel, you know that? I love you so much. Well, my day had been going as fine as usual, Jean. I tell her while I cut a piece of my food and eat it. Mrs. Brown is pregnant with their first child, it turns out. She told me while I was mowing her lawn. I tell them about what Mrs. Brown told me today when I was mowing her lawn while I wait for Mordred to go out of school. Really? That's good on her, John. I hope it would be easy on her. The pregnancy. Jean smiled brightly, and I think it managed to bring life to the table. How far along is she into her pregnancy, John? Saffron asked me, but before I can reply to her, another voice start talking again. What is her address, John? I would love to visit her and give her my help too. As someone who had given birth to 8 wonderful children, I would know a thing or two about pregnancies and how to take care of her body during it. Mom chimed in. It did. It did bring life into the table. John times Jean for the win. Oh, Jean. I would kiss you 'cause you managed to save dinner. Well, Mom, Mrs. Brown lives in the Mordred's POV. How the fuck does those 2 idiots manage to save dinner? Watching John tried his best to break the silence is fucking terrible. None of them fucking replied to him, those bastards. John didn't say shit to me 'cause he knew that if he did, I would had start running my mouth off at the others for this fucking situation. He knows me like that. What can I say? He's my homeboy since day one. Thankfully the little gentle bitch Jean talks because I was about to grab my and John's plate and bring them to my room 'cause I can't stand the fucking vibe they had created in this room. It's just Dad crying. It's weird. Unnerving. But as long as nobody is hurt, then I don't care if he cried. He didn't care if John cried because of him, so why should I care? Hell, I don't think anyone in this family cares about John as much as I do. They would do their best for his safety, that I can't deny. But would they care for John enough to help him achieve his dreams? No fuck no. Saffron, as much as she loves John, she can't do shit for hunter-related things. She's a doctor to be, for fuck's sake. Artoria, that cold bitch, would snitch on Dad 'cause she would think that John couldn't survive being a hunter. She cared about John's safety, but she doesn't care enough about John's want. She's a good sister for him, but not the best. The only one who could help John, amongst the brats, are Jean. And she can't do shit as much as she want to. Dad is training her every day. She can't exactly do what I do and just train with John alone in the fucking cave cause she herself still needs training. I then focus on eating my food while listening to the conversation about Mrs. Brown being pregnant. Why the fuck is her name Brown? First it's Wood. And then Rock. And now Brown. Did someone run out of names or some shit? I did. I did run out of names. Used up my creative juice to create names for the OCS in the next arc. I let out a sigh. If I were to have a children, I would name it creatively. Like Krrish Arc. Damn. That was a good name. The Great Krrish Arc. It's a mouthful but it sound majestic. How about you, Mordred? You gonna join us? My head perked up cause I didn't hear the fuck they was talking about. Wah. Yeah. I nodded and look around cause who the fuck asked me that question? It's either Mom or Saffron. Mom fucking chuckled, so it's gotta be Mom then. Well, I was asking if you want to join us go out tomorrow? Saffron asked me. So it wasn't Mom. It's Saffron. I said yes, didn't I? I'm not deaf, you dumb bit. I closed my mouth as I feel John pinched my thigh. I was about to explode on him but he motioned to Mom with his head. I then look at Mom and sees her glaring at me while covering Olivia's ear. Oh. Yeah, I forgot about the baby. I can't curse in front of Olivia or Mom and John will start lecturing me. What I won't do for my family. Sighs. I'm such a wonderful sister. What can I say? I'm the great Mordred Arc 23. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Mordred Arc be like. After what happened last night. It is a wonderful thing that the whole family to the park. Well, not the whole family, I guess. Dad got a mission that would take him out of Orleans for a week. Something about the headmaster of Beacon needing his help tracking down someone or something. I think it would be best for him to not go on that mission and just stay with us to take his minds off whatever is plaguing his mind that could make him cry. Even Mom think the same as me. She tries to convince him to refuse the mission but he insisted that he must go. He then leaned in to whisper to Mom's ear, but because of how close I was to them at the time I could hear Dad talks about a maiden being missing. So it's a missing girl that Dad must track down then. Maybe it's one of the councilman or politician's daughter being missing, because Dad is pretty high ranking in the hunter's hierarchy, so there's no way he would be given a mission that's not important. Dad is ranked S in his hunter's license. There are only a handful of S-ranked hunters and each headmaster on the hunter school must also be an S rank or at least A+ rank at minimum, because if the worst scenario happen, the headmaster must be the first and last line of defense of the school. I want to be A/S ranked too. It would make Dad and the others proud. But with how high ranked Dad is, then this mission must be really hard and important. Well, after we eat breakfast, Dad is grabbing his backpack and we are currently seeing him off. Stay safe, okay honey, make sure to take care of yourself. And whatever happened to listen to Crow? Mom told him as they both hugged. Yeah, Dad. Stay safe and come home soon. I want to go to the mall next time, okay? Noir shouted and jumped up and down, resulting in Dad chuckling. The rest of the family then each say some parting words from Dad, and as usual, Mordred is the most quick with her words. Her words is basically, don't die or I'll kill you. If you translate it to normal people speak, then it's basically, stay safe or I'll be sad. But it's Mordred. So it's going to be unique to say the least. The most shocking thing that happened while seeing Dad off is his interaction with John. John, come here. Dad told John, which made John's eyes look around in confusion, because this never happened before. Not in years. Even the others looked confused except for Mom, who looked as if she is expecting this. What happened last night? Because when the rest of us had come to the dining room, Dad is already finished crying. None of us except Mom actually knows about what had happened. Does this have something to do with John? At first I wanted to ask Dad about what's wrong when we were eating last night, but I stay silent because seeing Dad like that, it's making me want to cry too. And when John came back for dinner he panicked and asked Mom about Artoria. I think my heart stopped beating for a few seconds because I didn't think that something could happen to Artoria. What if she is hurt or is hospitalized? I'm such a bad sister to not think of that. Thankfully Mom denied that anything had happened to Artoria, and as much as I love that nothing had happened to her, it still doesn't change the fact that something did happen to make Dad cried. When John come closer to Dad's next action basically makes some of us take few step back. He hugged him. Dad hugged John. What? I look around and see the rest of my sister is in a similar state of shock. Saffron's eyes widen while she tightened her hold on to Olivia, while Mordred take a step back and her hands slacken at her side. I think I can see her eyes watered and lips quivered. The younger ones is still too young to fully understand, but they can feel the atmosphere that Dad had created. John's eyes is basically as wide as plate before he hugged Dad even tighter. I don't think Dad ever hugged John since before the end of his training. The most that Dad physical touch that Dad had Vixen John after that is just a pat on the back at best. His next action shock us even more. Dad lean in and give John's forehead a kiss. Whatever happened, John, you must know that I love you. And I will always love you. Dad says to John, and I can see John start to shake and hear a little sob as he buries his face on Dad's chest. Is Dad going to die? How dangerous is this mission? Dad never done this to John. I love you too, Dad. John hugged Dad even tighter, and after a few more moments they pull away and John sniffed and start rub his eyes. Dad then says his goodbyes to the others before he leave. Hopefully nothing bad will happen, I think to myself as I see John's being comforted by Mordred. 24 Yes, this is bad. 'Cause my shirt had become a victim. Mordred arc, shit. I'm confused. Am I supposed to be happy? Mordred thought to herself while she comforted John by rubbing his back. Hey, don't cry, she hugged him. There's nothing to cry about, so don't cry. Mordred is confused on whether she's supposed to be angry at her dad for making John cry, or should she be happy for her dad's words and action. 'Cause on the other hand, what her dad did to John was something that John really needed, considering it's been like fucking years since he ever do that to John again. Hell, it would be really weird if John didn't cry. He is very affection-starved from his father, of course he would cry. Saffron then put Olivia down at the ground and let her stand on her own before she walked up to John's and Mordred and hugged them both. Come on, John. Let's get you inside. Saffron nodded to her mother to tell her that she'll take care of John while she take care of the rest of the siblings, 'cause John needed her more now. Saffron knows that she hadn't been in John's life as much as she used to, considering she is busy with her study, but she is his big sister for Aum's sake. If she doesn't help him now, then when else would she help him? Mordred may be the closest to him now, but Saffron was the one who John used to go to for comfort. She was the one that teaches John on how to first dance. It hurts her a little when John confide in Mordred's more than him confiding with her, but what choice that he have? Artoria, as much as she loves John, is simply just too strict, you could say. She will try her best to comfort John and be there for him, but she's a little bit too emotionally unavailable. And from what Saffron gathered, Artoria was the first person who knew about their dad's plan for stopping John's training. She would feel pretty guilty for supporting their fathers. Jean is training with their father, and that meant that she won't have the time to be there for John as much she wanted, and it's not a secret that Jean also felt guilty for John, but this time it's not because of supporting their father, it's because that one of the main reason that their father stopped John's training was to focus on her training. And the other was simply too young for John to confide in. That's why that if Saffron was in John's shoes, she would also pick Mordred. Why? Well, Mordred was the most loud in her disagreement in regards to their father's decision. Hell, it's been an ongoing fight between her and their father. Miles obviously doesn't try to fight back 'cause he's not a child abuser. Obviously. Duh. Mordred also actively seeks out John from what Saffron knows, and they both also goes out every day to just hang out. Come on, John, and let's get you another pair of shirt or some shit, there's snot all over it. Mordred told John before she grabbed his hand and dragged him inside, with Saffron following close behind. John. Jean thinks to herself because she wanted to go with John too before she sigh and shake her head and look at her mother. Mom, John called out to her mom. Is John going to be okay? Yeah. Is he going to be okay? I don't like seeing him cry. Noir chimes in while Blanchard nodded her head like a bobble head beside her. Luna let out a tired sigh before she answered her children's. He's going to be okay. Your brother. Your brother is just shocked. That's all. Luna put a hand to her cheeks before she sighs again. He's just not used to your father doing that to him since the word, stopped his training, comes to Jean's mind. Luna's then sighs again. He really needed this. No child should have been deprived of his father's love like that. She then crouch and pick up Olivia and carry her before she looks at the rest of her children. Come on, let's get you all some new changes of clothes. We're going to the park, remember? Luna thinks that hopefully this could mend the relationship between the father and son. I didn't expect him to do that. John sobbed into Mordred's shirt while they sit on his bed. It's okay, John, let it all out. Saffron rubbed his back and looked at Mordred's eyes. This is bad. Her eyes communicate to Mordred's, in which Mordred replied by rolling her eyes as if she is saying, of course it is bad, are you stupid? Hey, we don't expect him to do that either. But I guess the cold bastard finally grows a heart, huh? Mordred tried to bring some of her usual type of levity to conversation, but it doesn't sound that great even through her own ears. I don't even remember the last time he hugged me, Mordred. Let alone said that he loved me. John cried harder onto her shirt while his body started to shake. Shit. I really want to punch that bastard for making him cry, but what can I do? That fucker probably doesn't even think on how this would affect John. Mordred hugged John tighter. Hey, listen to me, John, it's that man's fault for not giving you all of that, okay? He's a stupid bastard that feels too guilty to properly give you the love you need, okay? Mordred whispered to him, but it's loud enough that Saffron can hear. Listen to her, John, Dad doesn't know any better. And maybe from now on he would stop being so. Saffron lips thin before she talks again. Distant. Being so distant with you, John. Distant is one way to put it, Saffron thinks to herself. If not for John starting conversations with him or even interact with him, I don't think Dad would even talk to him. Well, as much as giving short answers counts as talking or not. Some days Saffron agreed with Mordred on punching their father or even slapping him. But Mordred had hit him enough for Saffron to be satisfied. Like Saffron knows that their father is feeling guilty, but he can't ignore his son for years. And it's not like John is still feeling angry at him or anything. From what her and the other know, John had already forgiven him for it. I know. I just didn't expect it. She then sniffles and rubs his face on Mordred's shirt, in which she sighs and thinks to herself. Next time I'ma vomit on you again, 'cause this is my shirt, god damn it. Not a fucking tissue for your snot. A tick mark appear on Mordred's forehead, but she sighs and calmed down. I expected him to just, nod at me like usual. John then pull away, and both Mordred's and Saffron's heart break a little at seeing his face. Hey, don't cry anymore, okay? It's an order from the great Mordred Ark. Mordred then grabbed the end of her shirt and rubbed his face with it. As much as she don't like having snot on her shirt, she doesn't like seeing John's crying face even more. The great Mordred Ark? Is that what you're calling yourself? Saffron raised an eyebrow at Mordred. Mordred's eyebrows twitched before she glared at her. You got a problem with that? Book face? That's some creative insult. Coming from an angry Pomeranian. The fuck did you just call me, you stew? Mordred stopped herself when she hears a soft laugh. Both Mordred and Saffron look at John and sees him chuckling while rubbing his eyes with his arm. Well, it looks like they managed to make John stop crying, so that's some good news at least. And for the bad news? Mordred's shirt is fucking filthy now. Chappy Big 25, well. My shirt is fucked, that was what Mordred thinks to herself while she is in her room looking through her closet. I'm so fucking stealing his clothes later, because this is unbelievable. I became a good sister and now decided to fuck me in the ass by making John snot all over my shirt. My white shirt. Most of it is either green or yellow now. She complained to herself. Because frankly, she deserved it. But it's not like she regretted it, it's John. He could shit all over her shirt and she won't be mad at him. Well, not mad per se, more like annoyed. Because she know that John would gladly lose as an arm for her, a shirt is nothing compared to it. As for why she would still get annoyed? Like, imagine having a good-ass white shirt only for it to be used as an impromptu napkin. Mordred then grabbed another shirt. This time she decided to be smarter by picking a red shirt, which is also her favorite shirt. Even if John used this as another tissue, it could still be saved. She put on a smirk on her face before she take off her shirt. She then look at the shirt and think about it. She have a few red shirt, but this one is her favorite because of one reason. John bought it for her as a birthday present, and it is signed by Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis. How the fuck did John manage to get that? From what she could get John to fess up about it, it took him more than a year old saving his money to buy it. A small smile creep up onto her face and she put on the shirt. It's a little big for her, but she'll grow into it. She'll make sure that she'll grow into it. She really couldn't ask for a better brother than him. Now that she thinks about it. Is she John's favorite? Well, John confided with her. He tell her secrets that no one else knew about. And he give her massages when the sparring match had ended with her being a little too injured for John's liking. Yeah. She is his favorite, the thought finally comes to her. It is obvious in hindsight, but hey, she never expected this shit. Who could have guessed? She smirked and walked to the door, but she stopped herself. Miles. Today he is being really weird. Hell, in the first place, the whole situation for last night is weird cause when you take account that whatever happened to make Dad turned into this thing. It gotta be something important. She won't say it out look, but she missed Artoria, but she may or may not had wished Artoria was there last night. She could help with uncovering about whatever the fuck happened to Dad. Mom seems a little sad, but she is overall fine at the dinner table last night. Mordred won't lie and say she doesn't feel a little scared when John asked Mom about if Artoria is hurt or not, but she do feel a little relieved when Mom said no to it. She have her own theory on what happened last night. It ranges from one of Dad's old friend dying, which is ridiculous because if one of them actually died, the whole family would have gone to the funeral. But still, it's the only theory that makes sense to her, which was strengthened by his interaction with John this morning. It's a little unnerving to say the least. Dad never hugged John before. The last time she remembered him hugging John was when John was little. Like really, really little. 5 years old level of little. And Mordred cannot gauge her mother's reaction to the whole shish kebab because she is too busy with comforting John and her emotion of wanting to throttle Miles or hugging him. Either way will end either her using her semblance on him. She sighs and shake her head before she grab the door handle and get out of the room. Saffron is probably with John right now, helping him tidy up. She then go down the stairs. And with how long it took for me and Saffron to calm down John, by now Mom and the others should had enough time to get ready. She smirked when she heard the sound of the others, especially Noir. Bingo. When she reached to the living room where the family is waiting, Jean sit up and open her mouth. Mordred. Is everything fine? Jean asked Mordred because she wanted to also be there for John, but she can't because he had to help Mom with the rest of the children. Noir is a lot to take care while also taking care of Olivia. Olivia, who is 3 years old right now. Which meant that she is really energetic. Combine that with Noir. Well, that's a recipe for disasters. Jean had to take care of Noir, or in other words, distracting Noir while Luna take care of Olivia. Thankfully Blanchard is a quiet child. Yeah, he's fine. Just shocked, I guess. Mordred answered Jean while she walked to the couch and take a seat. To be honest, I don't blame him. Dad was being really weird. Mordred talked to Jean, but her eyes is glancing at her mother because she want to judge her reaction. Makes one wonder about what really happened last night. Mordred stays silent for a few moments, trying to see her mother's reaction before she sighs and give up, knowing that it's losing battle. She's 1,000 years too early to play that type of games against her mother. Chapter 26. Windex spray. Dad. He hugged me and kissed me. Wow. I have no words to explain. He never does this since that day. My heart hurts so much. Why? Why now? What changed? What did I do differently? Is it because he is fully convinced that I won't be a hunter now? Or something else? As much as I want to pretend as if everything is okay, I know that deep down that he treat me differently. Countless times I had tried to have a friendly chat or try to have any father and son moments, and all he gave me is that same cold stare. But today something is different. He hugged me. My eyes starts to water again, but I quickly blink it away because I can't cry now. Mom is driving the car so we can go to the park, and I don't want to make a scene. I let out a sigh before I lean back on my seat in the car as I listen to the others talking to distract myself from thinking about Dad. I'll do it later after we got home from the park. Noir, can you fucking stop bouncing? You're making me have car sick. I hear Mordred scold Noir. I think she is starting to regret taking the seat in the middle rather than the back like usual. No. Noir yelled back at Mordred as she bounced harder. I know Mordred want to choke Noir, but she can't do anything considering her face is green. I let out a chuckle. She thought she won't be motion sick if she sits in the middle. Contrary to what she thought, sitting at the middle makes her more motion sick courtesy of Noir not being able to move. Noir, listen to your sister. Mom chimed in from the driver's seat, and I can see from her rear view mirror that she is not amused at Noir's action. Well, I don't blame her. Noir really making life hard for Mordred right now. Noir probably have a grudge against Mordred with all the words Mordred threw at her. How does a 7-year-old have this big of a grudge? I don't know. I was a good child when I was 7 years old. On second thought, I am not that good of a child when I was 7 years old, considering that I ran away in the middle of the night into the forest because my instinct told me so, and it resulted me in being attacked by a grim. Wait. I retract about what I said. I am a good child. I unlocked my aura on my own. That gotta count for something. I shake my head before I lead my over the seat and talk to Mordred. Mordred, why don't you climb back here? There's room for you. Isn't that right, Jean? I look back and ask Jean, who is sitting beside me. Yeah, Mordred, John and I could just move a little and you fit perfectly. Jean moves a little bit to the side and pat the space between her and I. Before Mordred can answer us, Saffron chime in. Yeah, Mordred, you can go to the back. It'll help your motion sickness without Noir sitting beside you and bouncing like crazy. And Olivia can sit down on the seat rather than my lap. Mordred let out a tired sigh. Why can't I sit on the front? Blanchard could switch place with me. She then looked at Mom and put on her best puppy eyes. Please, Mom. You wouldn't your favorite daughter to vomit all over the car, right? Please, she clapped her hand together and flutter her eyes. Mom let out a sigh and glanced at her. Mordred. I told you to eat some of the motion sickness pills that we bought just for you. But you refused, saying that you will fight it until you get rid of your motion sickness. Mordred chuckled and scratched the back of her head. I have made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. Please forgive your foolish daughter and let her seat at the front. It would be endearing if only her face isn't green trying to hold in her vomit. Okay, you can sit in front. But only if Blanchard let you, she then whispered to herself, but because I had unlocked my aura years ago, my body is much better than a normal person's body. Add the fact that I had trained my aura into uncharted territory. Well, it makes my enchantment even without my aura active is pretty good. And those same enhancement allowed me to hear what she had whispered. This should be a good lessons for her to not refuse her meds again. This child of mine is too stubborn for her own good. And I also think Mordred heard what Mom said because she let out a groan and grabbed the front seat. Blanchard. Please. Switch. Switch with me. I can't handle your twin no more. Mordred starts to shake the front seat. Awawawawawa. Blanchard panicked and shake her head before she speaks softly. No. It's my turn. Noir sat here the last time we go out. Mordred starts to glare at Blanchard, trying to intimidate her, and once again, it didn't work that well cause she is trying to hold back her vomit. As for why I am sure that it didn't work even though I'm only seeing the back of Mordred's head? Well, case in point, Blanchard, the most introverted members of the family, didn't back down from her decision. Noir got excited at seeing the confrontation between her two sisters, and she starts to bounce more on her seat, making Mordred groan and climb into the back. Move away, fuckers. Make space. Or I'm vomiting on you two fuckers. She threatened Jean and I before she sit herself right down the middle. John. Hands. Massage me now. She looked at me as if she is seconds away from vomiting on me. Okay. I panicked and start to massage her forehead like usual whenever she got car sick. Jean meanwhile chuckled, which resulted in Mordred glaring at her. The fuck you looking at, you soft bitch? Mordred do have a way with her words. She's has her charms. Yeah. Charms. Let's call it that. 27 Chapter 27 Wholesomeness. Fuck Noir. Fuck MOM. Fuck Saffron. Fuck everyone. How dare they let the great Mordred Arc suffer along against a despicable, evil, horrendous, stupid, mean, bitchy, assholey, fucky disease. Fuck motion sickness. Why the fuck is it only me out of the entire family got this shit? John used to have it when he was a fucking little bray, but he lost it when he unlocked his aura. This shit is not fair. I had unlocked my aura, but I still have this stupid ass motion sickness. I never gotten motion sickness when I am fighting, even with how fast I moved. John told me that my motion sickness is some that's called a placebo effect. Fuck him and his nerdy mumbo jumbo. Why the fuck would I believe in some nerdy mumbo jumbo bullshit? No way. Absolutely no fucking way. This shit is not some made-up fake-ass mumbo-jumbo bullshit. My motion sickness is because of a curse. A curse on the Arc family. The curse obviously only target the greatest. Most intelligent. The most beautiful. The strongest of the Arc family. And that is obviously me. Shit. I cover my mouth to try and hold back the vomit while John is massaging my shoulders. Come on, Mordred. Hold it in for a few more minutes. We are going to arrive at the park soon. He tried to console me, but Fuck him. If he massaged me better I wouldn't be in this situation. You know what? I'm going to tell that straight to his face. If only you fuck you. I got cut of as a surge of vomit is trying to exit out of my mouth. Mom. Please drive faster. I don't want her to vomit on me. Jean panicked as she tried to become one with the side of the car with how flushed she is against it. As for the reason why, well, conveniently with John massaging my back, I had to turn my body to face her, making her in what I like to call the splash zone. John experienced what it's like to be in the splash zone last night when we came back home. His shirt is still on the clothesline right now, screaming vengeance for what had been to it. Shut the fuck up or I'm gonna vomit on you, you soft twat. I may not see it but I know that my face is fucking green right now. Mom. Hurry up. She's going to vomit. The so-called soft that back away even more to the side of the car in panic. Come on, Mordred. Don't scare her like that. John tried to calm me down but unfortunate fuckingly, I ain't one to be calmed down. Even if his massage are fucking delightful. And you know what's funny about all of this shit? The others are silent. You know why? Because they don't want to be in the splash zone. 20 minutes had passed. As soon as we reached the park I climbed over the seat and step on Noir Aya. As I get out of the car. Land. Sweet, sweet land. Oh, how I missed you. I kneel on the floor and start to sob before I stopped with my eyes wide. Shit. My stomach bubbling. I then run to the nearest trash can and start to vomit my stomach out. Blowy. WROWJFKWBEKA, I swear to fucking God that I started to vomit's rainbow. In the background I can hear the rest of the family coming out of the car and leaving me to my misery as they enter the park. Well, not all of them obviously. My sweet, sweet kind little brother stayed behind and walk up to me before he start to rub my back, of course he would. He's my favorite and as much as he want to deny about having a favorite. The whole family knows that I'm his favorite too. We're basically conjoined at the hips after that dumb fuckatardo bastardo stupido father of ours had done to him. Well, fuck him. And fuck the others too. I don't need the others. Fuck them for leaving the great Mordred arc. All I need is John. We're the dynamic duo. The sequel to Uno. The number after one. The two peas in a pod. Come on. Let it all out, he continued to rub my back and whispered to me. Well, look at the bright side. You can watch as much as you want later. This little shit. He thinks he is funny, huh? I may chuckled a little but he won't know that cause the power of the great Mordred vomiting will snuff out any sound of chuckling. Fuck yo bluey. Euro pound yen Korean $1, third person POV, are you sure it's okay to leave John to take care of Mordred? Jean asked her mother, because even though she's not as close to Mordred like John, she still cared for her. It's okay, Jean. Mordred is in good hands. Or have you forgot about how they are basically conjoined twins? Saffron answered her in place of their mother who chuckled at their conversation while carrying Olivia because frankly, if no one carry Olivia she would wander off to God knows where. And, from personal experience, I am currently taking care of my 3-year-old nephew. Yes, I'm a young UNC. But my nephew is too. Fuck. If I leave the door open to let some air in, he would run off and I had to chase him. Or if I let him down just for a second he would run to the busy streets. Fucking hate him when he does that, he could get hit by a car. But enough about me ranting, let's continue to the story. Come on kids, you know that Mordred would only listen to John. Luna, tell them. Mordred only listened to me because I'm her mother. But she listened to John because she wants to, she'd let out a sigh, because on one hand she loves how close those two is. But on the other hand she don't like how distant the two is from the others. Before. The incident. John always makes sure to play with all of his siblings. But now, Luna don't think she ever sees John even dance with Saffron anymore. Before the incident he always danced with Saffron every day without missing a single beat. But nowadays, he's always out in the town helping the people there or out with Mordred to God's knows where. Not that John never bonded with the rest of his siblings anymore, he always tried to be there for them. If Noir asked him to play, then he will. Jean asked him to teach her how to do some math. He will. Artoria asked him to cook for her. He will do it with gusto. But it's just that compared to his bonds with Mordred, well, leave much to desired. Not that his bonds with Mordred is a bad thing in her eyes, it's just that she wished the rest of her children is as close to each other as Mordred and John. Luna let out a sigh and shakes her head because why is she thinking about this? She have better things to do like making sure the children have fun today to take off their minds about what happened. Deep down in her heart she knows that Miles should have done better than what he did this morning. That man is like a swinging wrecking ball, all hard and no smash and no thought. Come on. Come on. I wanna feed the ducks. Come on. Noir starts to drag Blanchard. Awawawawa, that is all Blanchard could say. Saffron sighs. Come on Jean, let's go to the flowers. She tells Jean before she turns to Luna and put the picnic basket on the ground. And Mom, give me Olivia, you could rest while take these two to the flowers. She offered to Luna in which the reply is a smile from Luna and her giving Olivia to Saffron. You kids have fun and stay safe, okay? I'll be under the tree, you know the one. The usual. Luna grabbed the basket and motioned to the huge tree that basically become the favorite spot for the family to rest under whenever they come to the park. Okay, Mom. Jean answered before she and Saffron, who is carrying Olivia, starts to walk away. As the kids walks away from her, Luna starts to walk to the tree and she then starts to think about the tree and how special it is to her. And Miles too. The kids would probably think the reason why they always choose to rest under the tree is because that it has some nice shades and views. That is one of the reasons why, but not the biggest reason. The biggest reason for why they picked this tree is because this is the same tree that Miles proposed to Luna under. As she arrived at the tree she starts to roll out the picnic blanket and put the basket on it before she sits down. I love my life, she talks to herself. I have 8 children. A home. And a loving husband. What more can I want? Well, there is some things that could be better. Like Miles and John. Connections. She let out a sigh because she sometimes want to throttle her husband for being an idiot. She know he meant well, but there are better ways to do it. Let's look at what his ways got him. A daughter that is angry at him and overprotective of her little brother, and a son whose heart and dreams had been broken by his own father's decision. He really should have did it in another way. What he did is something I know his father would beat him for. She then starts to remember about how spirited her father-in-law was. Even in his old age he would never back down from a fight. Luna chuckled as she remembered about how gentle he was. When she was pregnant with Saffron, she was treated like a queen, he would bring her food or anything she wanted. But the same can't be said about how he treated Miles when she was pregnant. He was a slave driver. He would scold Miles if he sees Luna trying to work. Like even something as simple as trying to plate her own food, that man would literally give Miles a hell of a scolding and ordered him to massage Luna's legs. It's really unfortunate that he only managed to live long enough to see her being pregnant with Artoria before he died on a mission with Miles. That man is a good grandfather. Better than any she knows. It's the reason why she named John in his likings. John Arc. John Arc, hell, she even named Jean after him too. She know for a fact that John would be his favorite. John may be a spirited man, but he confided to her that he wished to always have a son who is smart, kind, understanding, and loving. But sadly Miles only checks 2 of the boxes. Which is kind and loving. As for smart and understanding? Well, her husband's isn't winning any Nobel Prize soon, and understanding? After the whole stopping John's training fiasco? Yeah. She won't say that he is understanding because if he did, he would have tried another way of training John, and if he exhaust all methods of training, well, create a new one then. As for John, well, he checked all 4 of those boxes. Smart? Well, he is top 1 in his class. Kind? He may not be as gentle as Jean, but he is kinder than her. Jean may not look like it, but sometimes when she is angry at someone, her tongue is sharp. Understanding? John forgave his father for God's sake. If her father does that to her, she will be angry at him for years. John understand why his father did what he did and he forgave him. As for loving? John loves everyone he meets, the whole town could attest to it, ever since he was 4 years old he have a heart too big for him. Luna sighs and look at Noir and Blanchard as they feeds the ducks. If only you lived, John. You would love all of your grandchildren. You would probably be their favorite rather than Miles and I. Sometimes. Good men died too soon for the world to appreciate. Miles let out a sigh as he leaned back his head on the seat of the bullhead. Orleans to Vale. A 3-hour journey at most. And it's not like the pilot is rushing, he talks to himself before he looks out of the windows. Usually a journey from Orleans to Vale would take half a day, but that is only if they use a commercial public bullhead rather than Ashburn's personal bullhead. Well, as personal as a vehicle owned by an institution of hunters could be. The difference in size between the two and weight also helps, with the smaller bullhead being able to fly faster and all that aerodynamic bullshit. Shit. Do Ashburn really need me to go do this mission? I really hoped I could bond with John today. Miles let out a sigh again as he thinks of the chance he had missed to bond with John. He knows that he had done wrong to his boy. He should have been smarter and thinks of better ways to stop his son from training to become a hunter. He tried. He really did try to prepare John to become a hunter, but with the year passing and he didn't see any improvement from his son, he can't take it anymore. The image of his father's bloodied face while he is dying on his arm can't leave his mind. He saw pictures of his father while his father was 10 years old at the time that he took the picture. And his face looks so similar to John that it hurts his heart. Whenever he looks at his son, all he can see is his father born again, just with different personality. John's personality is similar to Luna rather than Miles, but his looks. It's all John Arc. Give John another decade or 2, then he would be the spitting image of John Arc. Miles couldn't really ask for a better son. John. He is so loving. John forgave him. Forgave his own father who had decides that he is not good enough for his dream. Who would do that? If John had decided to not let him become a hunter, then Miles don't think that he could ever forgive his father. John deserve a better father. And Miles want to be it. He wants to be a better father to John. Not only to John. To his other children too. Mordred. Saffron. Artoria. And the rest. They deserve a better father. Miles pinched his eyebrows and take a deep breath. Shit. Why am I thinking about this? I got better things to think about. Like the maiden. The unspoken word is stuck to his throat as he remember about the last time he had seen her. Miles press his forehead to the window and shut his eyes tight as he take a deep breath. Shit. Fuck. Dad. Fuck. Line break? Well, I don't know what to put here. But enjoy the flashback, I guess, and it have a fight scene. I'm gonna stop yapping here and let you guys read. Dad. Miles shout over a horde of Grimm as he sliced through it with his greatsword. Dad! Shit 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 shit! All I wanted to do was grab a couple of beer from the bar. So how the fuck did this happen? That was all Miles can think of before he got bombarded with even more number of Grimms. A Beowulf then tried to bite his head off, but he quickly moves his head away before he grab its jaw and force it wide open and tear it apart. Rayag! Get out of my way! Miles then grabbed his greatsword and split an Ursa into two as it charged at him. Dad! He can see that beyond this hordes upon hordes of Grimm is a battle that only one word come to mind to describe it. Catastrophic. He can see the maiden's elemental magic raging about, hear the ringing sound of swords clashing against steels and the thudding sound of a shield defending what could only come from the sound of his father's shield. What the fuck is happening in vacuo? Miles then jumped high up in the air in an effort to jump over the hordes of Grimms, but he got intercepted as a Nevermore is trying to dive bomb on him. Fuck off. He used the side of his greatsword as hammer to bat away the Nevermore, but unfortunately for him, another Nevermore come diving down on him and bring him back down to the ground with a crash. He tried to quickly get up, but his is launched away as a Borbatusk smashed into him. With a loud crash, Miles's body hit the side of an upturned boulder from God knows where because of how chaotic the whole place had become. Probably from the maiden. In the back of his mind he thinks to himself. When Miles managed to stand up again, he wiped away a sweat of his forehead because of the hit he took. Aura maybe could make someone as close as they could get to being impenetrable, but with a strong enough impact it could leave bruises and minor injuries. Why is he thinking about this? Well, he very well can feel his body having bruises that wasn't there before. And it hurt like absolute hell considering that aura doesn't do shit with the sensation of the immediate pain that comes from whatever the fuck hit you. Miles used his greatsword to steady himself as he looked at the once again charging Borbatusk. What the fuck? A Borbatusk? We're in vacuo for fuck's sake. They're not supposed to be here. When the Borbatusk is meters away from him, Miles quickly jumped to the side and stabbed the side of the Borbatusk, letting its own velocity to do its job as his sword glide through its body and killing it in the process. Miles then looked around to unfortunately see the hundreds of Grimms in front of him, but fortunately the Grimms that is too close to the main battle is dying in the hands of the stray attacks from the maiden, slowly lowering the number down because he don't think that he would survive fighting so many Grimm. He already lost 40% of his aura, which if you think about it is insane. Miles' aura is basically a 3 to 4 hunters worth of aura. If he wasn't an arc then he would already be dead by now from being unable to shit without any aura to protect him. How the fuck did all of this happen? Miles grit his teeth because he isn't wrong to complain or even question this situation. It all started like every average mission with his dad when it come to escorting or protecting the maiden. Miles is trusted enough courtesy of his father to join the young headmaster Ashbin's inner circle. It was a shock to him that Ashbin turned out that Ashbin isn't young by a mile. His body may be young but his soul isn't. Which made sense considering how the fuck he could become the youngest headmaster at the age of 29 years old. John explained it to him in further details about how Ashbin is cursed with immortality and is reincarnated every time he die, and how Ashbin's previous reincarnation was John's professor in Beacon 2. It took a lot of convincing from John for Miles to not tell Luna about the whole shit show, because considering that Luna was pregnant with Saffron at the time, he can't exactly give his wife more responsibility than necessary. What is necessary, you may ask? The fucking baby, you stupid. But yeah. Usually when he and his father go on this type of missions, which ranges from protecting the maiden, not that the maiden really needs it, but considering what's after them then. Yeah. It's better to be safe than sorry. Or trying to find a new maiden whenever Ashbin hear the news of a maiden dying. That type of mission usually is handled by Crow, considering that Miles couldn't really go for that long with Luna being pregnant and all. But the first type of mission at most only goes on for a few days or a week. But the secret that Miles is most scared of to tell to Luna is about the Grim Queen. Ashbin called her Salem, a grim queen that had lived for as long as him. Ashbin told them that he managed to almost kill Salem a few times in the past, so it gives him and probably the rest of the inner circle a few flames of hope. 'Cause what else can they do if not hope? Considering that Ashbin, or whatever his real name was, had been in the fight longer than all of their numbers of years alive combined, so if Ashbin himself can hope to kill Salem, then that meant they have a chance at winning this ungodly amount of years worth of battle. The missions start as normal as it could be, with him and his father flying on a bullhead to Vacuo, well, not Vacuo per se, but as close to Vacuo's border as they can get to not attract any unwanted eyes before they use an off-road to drive to the maiden's location. A couple of years ago, when Miles first met the Fall Maiden, Anbar Collins, he was a little shocked to see just how old she was. She was only a year younger than his father. He expected someone younger, but who could blame him? With title as maiden, he expected to meet a fucking 14 years old. Not a 50-year-old woman. Well, when they meet the maiden, she looks alright, no wounds or any visible injuries, and she alongside his dad starts to talk like they are an old friend or some shit. Considering just about how long his father and her had known each other, he wouldn't be surprised if they are actually more than old friends. He actually feel a little happy for his father. His mother had died giving birth to him. His father deserved to feel romantic love again after everything he had gone through. Raising a child like Miles as a single father isn't an easy job. Take into consideration that John is also a full-time hunter then. Yeah. Miles can still remember his early childhood being on top of his father's shoulder as his father showed him how to hunt a grim. That memories, alongside the memories of how his father sometime bring him along to join him on some of his easier jobs, had become Miles's fondest childhood memories. After a few days of guarding the Fall Maiden, Miles thinks that it's going to be another easy mission, so he decided to get out of the inn where they are currently staying and grab a few beers for the three of them. He didn't expect a big-ass sand dune to explode and rain sands all over the small town and starts to spews out grims like there's no end in sight. Miles had fought at least for 30 minutes before he can feel the sand start to shake like crazy as the Fall Maiden starts to use her magic. He knows that something is wrong, because if Anbar is using her magic, then something had gone absolutely wrong. And now we are back to Miles as he is fighting the Grims as best as he can, but he is losing slowly but surely because of the ungodly amount of Grim. This isn't a battle he can win by attrition, considering that the amount of Grims would eat him alive. He needs to get risky. Because if he didn't, then he would die. Miles bring up his great sword as high as he can before he brings it down with a mighty swing. Aura burst. As Miles used his semblance, he easily killed the Grim in front of him, and the aura crescent made out of aura comes out of his sword and slices through multiple Grims as it fly through the air. You're all done now, you fucktards. He put his sword at his side before he swing his body around to slice his sword around him in a circle. Aura burst. He used his semblance again, and the aura crescents fly around him and slicing and dicing the Grims around him with ease. Miles cannot do this forever, because each use of his semblance takes about 5% out of his aura with each use. There are two ways to use his semblance. First is to activating his semblance to make his body be infused with aura and expelling it in an instant, basically giving him a huge physical boost for a few seconds. The second way that he can use his semblance is by infusing his weapon and only his weapon with his aura and expelling it with an attack. It worked best with a sword, as it throw a crescent made out of his aura into the air and slicing his targets with ease. That is why he is called the Sword of Orleans. When he was 19 years old, he protected Orleans, a horde of Grim, alone while his dad and the hunters are away to help with the Mountain Glen incident. He had fought and killed so many Grim that day that he became one of the coastal town most beloved people. Luna, who is also in Orleans at the time because she is Miles's teammate/girlfriend, also played a huge role in the fight by healing everyone she can with her semblance, earning her the titles of the Saint of Orleans. Without her that day, Miles would have died from his wounds. A week later, well, that is how Saffron came to be. What can he say? He must thank his savior in one way or another. Enough about Miles having the horizontal tango with Luna. Right now Miles is fighting for his life and spamming aura burst. Aura burst. Aura burst. Aura burst. Aura burst. Miles starts to pants heavily because he doesn't need his scroll to see that his aura is at its critical red limit. He didn't notice it, but Onbar's magic is nowhere in sight anymore, but thankfully he killed the majority of the Grimm, making it so that he could finally see his dad and Onbar. Onbar is lying down on the sand with blood all over her because of a wound straight down her chest. How the fuck did someone defeat her? She used magic. Amba, Miles got cut off as the dust fully cleared and he can see clearly. What? What the fuck is that? What he sees is something that comes out straight out of his nightmare. A knight. A knight that wears a full armor made out of what could only be shadow itself. Its armor emits a cloudy dark smoke. And its sword is bone white with red running down its fuller. And that sword. It is stabbing through his father's chest. Dad! How dare you! You fucking bastard! Miles rushed to what his mind could only think of as a grim knight. When he got close enough, Miles jumped high up in the air with his great sword above his head. He concentrated his semblance to both his body and sword and prepared to unleash the most powerful attack he had ever used, not caring how this will break his bones and shred his muscles because a human body isn't meant to handle this kind of power. Aura burst. A normal aura burst could cut through steel walls with ease. This attack that Miles prepared to unleash on the Grim Knight is unfathomable in power, an attack that rivaled the likes of a maiden's magic. With a titanic swing of the greatsword, the sword come down with such force that its might could flatten hills. Clink. Miles' eyes widen in horror as his sword is stopped by the knight with a simple block with the gauntlet on its free arm, shattering his greatsword in two. What? The word comes out of Miles' mouth out of horror and confusion because how? That blow left Miles with only 2% of aura left. He used 23% of his aura on the attack. He could feel his bones screaming in pain from the repercussion of overdriving his semblance to the point of breaking his bones. Just how could this thing stopped it with such ease? That what is screaming inside of his head. The Grim Knight didn't even acknowledge Miles as it continued to stare at John, who is impaled by his sword. Yo, the Grim Knight then swing his sword that is still impaling John and launched John's body away. The wind force from its swing also launched Miles away. Miles landed with a roll before he come to a stop. Fuckers, he glared at the Grim Knight and he tried to stand up as he watched the Grim Knight walks away into the distance. You bastard. Don't you run away, you stupid fuck. Whatever happened, Miles promised to himself that the Grim Knight will die. No matter what. I'll kill you. I'll fucking kill you. Just as Miles is about to chase after the Grim Knight, he is stopped as he hears the sound of his father's voice. My boy. Miles quickly turn around and then stagger to his father. Dad. Please don't do this to him. Please don't let his father die. Not him. Please. Not my father. Miles then crumpled to the ground. With his fading strength, Miles starts to crawl on all four to his father until he reaches him. Dad. Please. Don't leave me. He gently grabbed his father's head and put it on his knees. Miles. Miles then put his ears as close to his father's mouth to listen to what he wished to be a word of reassurance that his father won't die and they would come back home. Miles. Promise. Me. That. You'll live. Miles's eyes widen before he turned his head to look at his father's face. Please. Dad. Don't leave me. You told me that you want to see Artoria. Please. He starts to plead to his dad, but with each word that comes out of his mouth, please. I promise to be a better son. Please. Don't leave me, Dad. Miles hugged his father's body that is slowly going colder and colder in an effort to magically bring him to life by giving him some heat. But it's already over. John had died at the age of 54 years old, in the embrace of his only child. Menagerie, basically island Japan, that's the vibe I am getting from the clothes and weapons. And let me remind you that this is an AU. None of this shit is canon. Also, before any one of you ask about how the fuck does Miles know about the reincarnation thingy. I did my research from watching Ruby and Google as a whole, and I found a post from Reddit that summed it up pretty good. What Ashbin told the inner circle Salem the maidens the relics and how Salem can't get a hold of them. His reincarnation system. What Ashbin didn't tell them the relics being grim magnets. His romantic relationship with Salem. Being the second round of humanity. His mission from the gods to unite humanity and how they'll all die if he fails. Salem being immortal and how there's no stopping her, he led everyone to believe that they had a chance. How he has no plan to stop Salem other than keep things at an eternal stalemate. That sums it up pretty well. Well, other than that. Thank you for reading. Woo! Chapter 29 The Wizard of Ounce. The bullhead door opened with a loud hiss before Miles out of it. Beacon, huh? It's been a while since I came here. Miles thinks out loud, which isn't entirely wrong. It's been about a year since he last stepped foot in Beacon. Nowadays Miles receives his missions from either Ashbin calling him or from Vale Council requesting him for a missions. He usually travel from Orleans to where the mission is headed without ever stepping foot in Vale or Beacon unless there is something important like his current mission. Miles let out a sigh, still tired from going through his memories. Memories which he wished he could forget, but he knows that it would be close to impossible with how important it is to him. His father's last word. There's no way in then 7 Hill would he forget them. Asterisk sigh star. Miles. Focus on the present for now. You can think about that later. He shakes his head before he walked to the entrance of the Bullhead station and sees Glinda Goodwitch standing there waiting for him. Glinda Goodwitch. Miles had met her a few times before. She become Ashbin's deputy / closest thing Ashbin have to an assistant / right-hand woman and the combat professor at Beacon a year ago when she was 26 years old. Now that Miles thinks about it. He don't think that there was a deputy when he was a student at Beacon. Either Ashbin create that job specifically for her or there were no good enough hunter to be available for the deputy position. Miles have a feeling Ashbin created the job for Glinda. Miles would put it past Ashbin to do that kind of shit. He is the headmaster of Beacon after all. If anyone can do that then it would be him. From what Miles had gathered, Ashbin had taken Glinda under his wings and trained her to be a potential maiden candidate, but it turns out that she become much too valuable to be a maiden. The life of a maiden. It's something Miles would never want to happen to anyone he loved. He had seen firsthand about what that life could bring. It's either a life of being hunted for the rest of your life or being a bird in a gilded cage. She's lucky that she is much more useful being a hunter rather than a maiden. Miles thinks to himself. Mr. Ark. Glinda greeted him and Miles nodded to her before he stopped a meter from her. Miss Goodwitch, you know that there is no need to wait for me, right? I attended Beacon. I know my way around. Miles tried to bring some levity to the conversation, but both Glinda's professional demeanor and Miles's own bad mood from his previous trip down memory lane made it so that his attempt failed, like how Crow failed to stop drinking whenever he tried to get clean. The poor alcoholic. Miles couldn't even use alcohol to cope with his trauma considering that. Miles shakes his head before he looks back to Glinda. Miss Goodwitch, shall we? He motioned his head to the building and Glinda nodded. We shall, Mr. Ark, it would be best if we don't keep the headmaster waiting. Glinda replied coldly, then starts to walk and Miles quickly follows suit, but a sweat dropped down the side of his neck because goddamn. This is one cold woman. Headmaster? Damn. The fuck did Ashbin do to make her this mad? Last time I met her and Ashbin. She called Ashbin by his name. Not his title. And not this fucking cold. That was 1 fucking year ago when Ashbin invited the inner circle to welcome here into it. The fuck did Ashbin do to make her this mad? Miles shivered a bit because the venom when she says the word headmaster. Damn. Miles wishes Ashbin some good luck because Ashbin for sure is in need of a lot of good luck. The walk to the beacon tower is tense to say the least. Every student basically parted to give way to her like Moses in the seas. Miles looked to the tree and sees Port trying to hide behind him. Miles doesn't know whether he should be scared at the fact that Port is hiding from a woman 3 times smaller than him or should he laugh at how funny it is seeing a huge man hiding behind a tree. A tree which width is smaller than him. Miles can see the side of his stomach of him on each end of the tree. So. Nice day. Isn't it? Miles tried to start a conversation with Glinda but all he got in reply was the coldest shoulder Miles had ever gotten from anyone. Even Luna wasn't this cold to him in the days following him stopping John's training. Shit. His mind went to there again. He need to be a better father for John. After this whole mission, he will try his best. The rest of the walk is in an awkward silence until they reach the elevator. Can I force the elevator door open and jump out of it? Miles thinks to himself as he stands beside Glinda in the small elevator sweating his ass off because what the fuck did Ashbin do? Miles don't want to die young. As young as a 38 years old can be, he got 8 kids to feed. Please. He don't want to die to a cold witch's curse. The torturous elevator ride went on for a few more minutes before it opened. Miles really want to burst into of the elevator but the demon is standing in front of him. He doesn't want to disturb her and risk being eaten by her. When Glinda stepped foot into Ashbin's office, Miles would swear on his life that he saw Ashbin flinched. The same Ashbin who didn't flinch whenever kids get yelled out of the side of a cliff in the name of initiation. Oh Ashbin. You fucked up so bad. Whatever you do, please don't rope me into it. Miles starts to give Ashbin a look that basically said, shut your mouth. You'll kill the both of us. Headmaster Ashbin, I had escorted Mr. Ark here as per your request. Do you have any more request, Headmaster? If looks could kill then Ashbin would have died being frozen like a fucking snowman with just how cold Glinda's glare is. Ashbin looked at his empty mug and before he can open his mouth, he saw the looks that Miles is giving him. Bitch. Don't. Not now. You stupid. The looks on Miles' eyes could only be described as full-on panic because it didn't help with the fact that Glinda is standing right next to him. Ashbin stayed silent before he shakes his head. That will be all, Glinda. If that is all then I will return to my office, Headmaster. The venom on the word headmaster is even more than the last time she used it. Miles wouldn't be surprised if it's much more venomous than fucking poison. It took until Glinda getting into the elevator and the door closing to make Miles' breath easy considering that the Witch of Tundra isn't in the room anymore. Ashbin, the fuck did you do to make her this mad? Miles scratched the back of his head. Well, I may had told her about what my original plan for her was. Ashbin tell Miles casually as he looked sadly at his empty mug. I should have asked her to bring me a refill. Miles feels like there is nothing inside his skull because. What the fuck? No wonder Glinda was this angry. He himself would be angry if he found out that he was being trained to be a gilded bird. So. You basically told her that she was trained to be. No. She was basically groomed to be a sacrificial lamb? Miles pinched the bridge of his nose because he could fathom the audacity of this old bastard. I would say it with some better words but yes. I did tell her the truth, contrary to what Miles had expected. Miles can hear some regret in his voice. Ashbin. Do you know just how fucked up is that? Sigh never mind. Miles then shakes his head. Let's talk about why I'm here. You told me over the call that the maiden is missing. Miles crossed his arm and looked at Ashbin with a serious. Ashbin nodded at him because the fall amber is currently missing. Yes, the fall maiden had been missing for the past week. Ashbin had tried to look for Anbar with everything he got. He even planned to go search of Anbar himself if Miles cannot find her. You already checked her usual spot? Miles asked Ashbin because if Ashbin did check her usual spot, not like Miles know of it anymore considering it's been a decade and a half since he last seen her. But still Anbar is an old lady now, she can't travel for too long even with her maiden power. Old age isn't something that can magically disappear. Well, if Anbar were to use her maiden then it would help, but she's almost 70 now if Miles is correct about her age. She's even older than Ashbin's current body who is in his 50s. How about Crow? Where did he look for her? Miles asked him because Crow is one of, if not the best hunter when it come to tracking down a person. And the fact that he can turn into a bird basically made him even better at finding something. Or someone. I already sent out Crow 4 days ago and he had checked both Sanus and Anima as best as he could. But he cannot find her. Crow even asked me for my opinion of letting him go to Raven and ask her to help him. Ashbin rubbed his hand before he tapped his finger on the table. Not that he need my permission for such thing. But this is something much more serious. Miles's eyes widened before he palmed his face because please. Ashbin isn't that stupid to agree to that shit? Right? Well, Miles is worried considering Ashbin track records. Please don't tell me that you get Raven involved in this shit. Do you forgot how power-hungry that woman is? I wouldn't be surprised if she backstabbing in the Fall Maiden and took her power as her own. Miles sincerely asked Ashbin because God help him if he have to fight Raven amped up with the Fall Maiden's power. Miles is good. But that is a fight that he won't come out unscathed. Raven's swordsmanship alone could rival him. Add the fact that she would be amped up by the Fall Maiden's power and magic. That's fucking unfair. The only way Miles sees winning that fight is by losing a limb by sacrificing it by overdriving his semblance even more than the last time he did when he fought that thing. Shit. Why did I go down my memory lane again? It's making me think of shit I don't want to think. Ashbin coughed on his fist to snap Miles out of his thought because this isn't the first time he's seen this. From Miles or from anyone else in his long and torturous life. Do not worry about Raven. I strongly suggest Crow to leave Raven alone. And what I mean by that is that I ordered Crow to stay put and wait because I will be requesting for your help in finding the Fall Maiden. Ashbin then chuckled and stand up from his seat before he walked to the windows and take a look at the bird's eye view of Beacon. His words did help in making Miles feel more relief because the Raven is scary as fuck. She was his underclassman in his 3rd year as Beacon. And even as a first year she lived by the rule of the jungle. And it didn't help that she had a crush on him on her 1st year of Beacon. There are far too many times she had asked him on a date in the pretense of sparring. It took him 2 months to make her stop because he basically started to become much too lovey-dovey with Luna. If anyone asked, yes. Miles did reject her and tell her that he's taken. But it's Raven for fuck's sake. If he wasn't wrong about the rumors, but he have a feeling that the rumors are right considering that has come straight from Crow's mouth. Would that be considered a rumor at the point? It did came straight out of Raven's own twin mouth. Well, the rumor was that Taeyong and Summer was about to become a couple, but Raven heard about Summer plan and literally stole Taeyong from her. A couple of years later she got pregnant and didn't even raise her own child cause from what Crow told him, Raven fucked off to fuck knows when her baby was only 8 months old. Summer had to comfort Taeyong and a year later they got married and have a baby. But, as if the gods wouldn't give Taeyong a break, Summer died 5 years later on a mission from Ashbin. Miles would have asked Ashbin about what was the mission that she died from, but he didn't because it feels like he is stepping into something much more personal for him considering that he isn't as close to Summer as he was to Crow. But he did ask Crow about it. The answer he gave him is enough. Crow had drunk so much alcohol that he had vomited for hours even after the fact. Crow got alcohol poisoning. He may not exactly give Miles an answer, but that alone is an answer enough. Whatever the mission was, it was bad enough that Summer's body couldn't be found. Just her arm and blood. Too much blood for anyone to live without. Miles then looked back to Ashbin. So where is Crow? Is he here in Vale? Ashbin shakes his head. No, he is still in Anima. Miles raised his eyebrows at Ashbin and nodded his head because it does made sense for Crow to be still in Anima. Crow probably start his search from here in Vale and fly around Sanus look for Anbar before he go to Anima and search there. It also match up to the fact that he also is desperate enough to think of asking Raven for help. Raven location is unknown considering she and her tribes of bandits roam around Anima. So the mission is to find her, right? It would be great if Crow joined me for it. 2 pair of eyes is better than 1 and all that. And as a backup too if things get too dicey. The Fall Maiden wouldn't disappear without good reasons. Miles then start humming. So when is the mission going to start and where would I be sent to? Miles asked Ashbin with his usual confidence, but that cannot hide the fact that he isn't too excited for the mission. He knows that it isn't Anbar's fault for what happened. But still. The last time he met her, his father died. Well, preferably now, and you will be sent to Anima and meet up with Crow. I trust you and Crow to take care of it on your own. Miles nodded before he turned back and walked to the elevator, but he stopped when Ashbin called out to him. Oh yeah. Miles. I'm curious about why didn't you send your child here? Ashbin asked Miles, but there are quite a few reasons about why he didn't let Artoria attend Beacon, not that she wanted to in her first place, which is really good for Miles. Well, Artoria thinks that Atlas Academy is much more suited for her. Considering that it's much more aligned with her taste, that is one of the reasons why Artoria attend Atlas and not Beacon. But the biggest reason Miles refused to let Artoria attend Beacon is because of Ashbin. Miles isn't that stupid to not be wary about Ashbin. With Anbar being in her old age, Ashbin needed a new sacrificial lamb. He was planning to use Glinda, but she is too valuable. And Miles refused to turn any of his daughter into a god-forsaken maiden. That kind of life isn't something Miles want for any of his children. Ashbin then nodded. Well, that is expected, I guess. She is very disciplined from what I heard about her from you. Well, good luck then, Miles. And may Aum be with you. Miles then nodded before he entered the elevator and go down. This mission is going to suck ass in his opinion. But at least Crow is there. It wouldn't hurt seeing an old friend. Chapter 30 Battle in the Sky. The ride to Anima take up most of the daylight and it left Miles in the mercy of his own thoughts. Which thankfully isn't as depressing as the ride to Beacon was. Miles used his time wisely as he is thinking of ways that he could use to bond with his son. It ranges from swimming to even taking a hike. Miles is a little conflicted on what he should do with John, but he have a better idea. That idea is to ask Mordred. Yes. Mordred. His infamous rebellious daughter that would prefer start a fight with him rather than sit down and talk with him. Not that he can blame her for that. He deserved at least that considering that John forgive him. Miles feels unworthy of it. At least with Mordred being angry in John's stead, then Miles could accept it. Mordred. Miles doesn't hate her. Miles doesn't want to play favorites, but if he does play favorites then his favorites would undoubtedly be Mordred. His children may not know it, but Mordred is much like Miles himself when he was younger. Brash. Foul-mouthed. Aggressive. Rebellious. And a whole load of other things. The only reason he changed is because Luna beat that attitude out of him. Mordred. Miles doesn't think that Mordred hated him. She's just angry at him. She fight with him because she cares for her little brother. Years ago Miles always thought that the one that would be closest to John is either Jean or Saffron. But after what he had done, he is thankful that it is Mordred that become the person closest to John. He is thankful both for John and for Mordred. As for why Mordred isn't that close with her sisters because of her harsh personality. Does she cares for her sisters and would fight for them? Yes. Does her sisters cared for her? Yes. But they aren't that close. And when she become a lot more closer to John, she had mellowed out. John could control her flames. There are many times he can feel Mordred is about to go berserk on him for not answering to John whenever John tried talking to him. But John calmed her down. With a single look or even just a hand on her shoulder. He calmed her down. John and Mordred both balanced each other out, Mordred with her making sure no one take advantage of John's kindness and John making sure that Mordred's anger won't take over her and calming her down. Miles always had a feeling that Mordred and John is hiding something. As for how he knows, he had been a hunter for fucking 19 years now. Well, technically 22 years if you include the time he was in Beacon. But would he try and pry into those secrets? No, it's the least he could do. Mordred and John's bonds isn't something that he should try and disrupt. And that bond is why Miles will ask Mordred's opinion and suggestion about where he should go with John. He once talked to Luna about what she knows about John and her answer is something he both expected and not expected at the same time. She told him about John's favorite foods. His favorite music. Anything that a mother knows about her child. And what Miles didn't expect is that John is gone for most of the day from school and after that with Mordred. But she knows that it's not something bad considering that whenever she goes to town, everyone there is asking her about how John or sometimes even giving her gifts to bring to John. It turns out that John is the town's golden boy. And when she asked around, everyone would say that John is so kind and would help everyone with anything. From helping with the groceries to even painting the fences. As for Mordred, well, it turns out that John dragged her everywhere with him helping around the town. The town loved the dynamic duo. The grumpy older sister and the loving little brother. So here's the plan. Go meet up with Crow, find Onbar, retrieve Onbar, go home, sleep, wake up, talk to Mordred, go with John. Miles thinks to himself and in his opinion. That's a damn good plan. And better plan than what he usually have. Considering that he is more of a plan on the go kind of guy. Luna isn't fond of that considering that he had his ass beaten by her so many times cause they sometimes almost end up dying cause of his plan and the only reason they survived is because of Luna's semblance and his frankly good sword skills and luck. Miles then feels the bullhead land and raised an eyebrow. Damn. Time flies by really fast when you're thinking, he then look at his watch and sees the time. 8 p.m. A 7 hours flight. That's fast. Would take the whole day if I took a commercial bullhead to Mistral. Miles then walked to the door as it opened with a hiss. Thank you, my friend. Have a safe flight. Miles thanked the pilot and the pilot nodded at him. You too, Miles. Godspeed. When Miles get off the bullhead, it then immediately take off and fly away. Okay. So where is Crow? Last I got updated about his location was that he is at a bar. And that was 3 hours ago. Way too fucking early for anyone to go to any bar. Miles sighs and shake his head before he walk into the city and starts to look around. If my memory is correct, the bar would be in this direction. As for where the bar is and how would Miles knows about it considering that Miles doesn't drink alcohol? Well, it is the bar where Crow had drink himself into the hospital after the death of Summer. The poor fuck. It took Miles about 30 minutes before he found the bar. It's not a pretty sight to say the least. The sign is on its dying days. There are a passed out bastard on the side of the entrance. Some blood on the pavement. And even a couple of teeth. Asterisk sigh star. Well, here goes nothing. Miles then pushed open the entrance and moved his head back as he smelled the stench of alcohol. Shit. Fucking hate the smell of that. Miles then forced himself to walk deeper into the bar and thank God that he sees Crow's back. 'Cause if he isn't here, then Miles don't know what bar Crow would be in. He doesn't exactly have the map for every bar here in Mistral. Well, now that he thinks about it, Crow would probably have that map ingrained in his brain. The only reason Crow doesn't have a beer belly or a fucked up liver is because of his activities as a hunter. Contrary to how Crow looked, he is currently the most active hunter. From his missions from Ojban though, and the fact that those missions could go for weeks or even months depending on it. Crow. Miles call out to Crow as he take a sit on the empty seat beside him. Miles. Crow greet back before he down a shot of alcohol, which if Miles would have guessed to be vodka. So. How's life? And really? You are going to drink knowing what we're about to do? Miles smirked at Crow because he is happy seeing an old friend again, considering that Miles's own team of 4 had become 2 before their time at Beacon even ended. The team broke up not because of the fact that any of them had died or is severely injured. It's just that they don't get along well with each other, and rather they split up rather than fighting with each other in the middle of a mission. They don't talk anymore, but Miles knows from grapevines that they are still alive. Knowing what we're about to do is a hell of a good reason to drink. Crow let out a pessimistic chuckle and refill his own shot glass with a bottle of vodka that Miles is sure belonged to someone else, considering the state of the guy seating beside Crow. The poor fuck is knocked out with a bruise on his face. To be honest, I don't have a good feeling about this fucked up mission. Knowing my bad luck, it would most likely end with a fight or some shit. As for life? Well, I am planning to take a break from Ojban. Crow then take another shot of alcohol. Damn, this shit hits like a bull. Miles raised an eyebrow at that. You? Taking a break from Ojban? What you're planning to do? Miles is genuinely surprised and happy that Crow is taking a break. He deserve it for all the shit had done and gone through. Crow let out a hummed and raised the shot glass and peer into it. Well, my oldest niece, Young, is about to start her training at Signal. So I'm planning to be a combat teacher there. If anybody expect Miles to scoff and laugh at Crow, then they are stupid, because Miles is genuinely happy that Crow finally could take a break from all of this bullshit. You? A teacher? That would be good. You could prepare the next generation to survive. And as a combat teacher? The kid you trained would be absolute monsters by the time they got into Hunter Academy. Crow let out another chuckle and refill his shot glass and raise it up. To being a good teacher. He drink it before he grab another empty shot glass and slide it in front of Miles and fill it. Here, drink up for my new job. Miles look at the glass before he shakes his head. No. I'm sorry, Crow, but you know that I have been 17 years sober. Last time I went out to grab a couple of drinks. It didn't end well for me. Crow start to feel guilty because he is too drunk to remember about it. Shit. Sorry, Miles. I genuinely forgot about here. Sigh, I'm suck a fuck up. I think I have enough drink for now. Hey, it's okay. You're drunk right now and it is expected that you would forgot about a couple of shit. Miles pat the back of Crow's shoulder. So. You got any idea about where to find her? Crow glanced at Miles and asked him that because by now, Crow doesn't know where the fuck the Fall Maiden could be. For all he knows, she can be on top of a fucking mountain alone inside of a cave. Or in multiple places at the same time. One limb in Atlas, another limb in Vacuo, so on and so forth. Damn, he thinks that his thought had gone one a darker path. Probably the alcohol talking. Miles nodded at Crow. Yeah. I think I have an idea of where she could be at. You know what's tomorrow, right? Crow tilt his head to the side. Tomorrow? Well, that would be Friday. Or is it Thursday? Shit. What day is it again? Miles laughs softly and shake his head. Today is Monday. And tomorrow is the anniversary of my father's. Shit. Fuck me. Crow thinks to himself. So, you think she's going to be there? Miles nodded at him. Yeah. She loved him too much to not be there now. And I have a feeling that her time as a maiden is going to end. She's really old now. Well, shit. We best hurry up then. Crow then stand up and Miles quickly follow suit. Yeah. If we go fast enough, we could arrive there before dawn at most. Let me bring you. A line break. It's safe to say that Miles is never letting Crow fly a bullhead again. Move. Move, dumbass. Move. Miles shouted as he clinged to his seat. I'm fucking trying. And by trying, he meant that he is doing a barrel roll midair. How the fuck did we lost a thruster? Miles looks out of the window and see a couple of Lancer Grimm perched up on the engine/thruster and is stabbing it with their pincers. Shit. We got a Lancer on the engine. Miles shouted at Crow and Crow's eyes widen in panic. The fuck you meant by Lancer? We're too high for them. Crow is trying his best to steer the bullhead with only his right engine/thruster. Do something. Like I don't fucking know. Kill those fuckers. Are you dumb? You think I'ma go out when we are this high off the ground? Even if Miles is complaining about the height, he still take off his seatbelt and grab a rope. Don't you fucking make me fall of. He tied one end of the rope to Crow's seat before he tied the other end around his own body. Open the side door. Crow quickly opened the side door just in time for Miles to run and jump out of it with his greatsword. Miles got slammed into the side of the bullhead with a loud crash. Shit. If not for the rope he would probably fall and die by now. But Miles doesn't have enough time to regret his decision because he had to stab his greatsword into the bullhead and move himself to the top of it just in time to dodge a couple of pincers as the Lancer had focus on him now rather than the engine/thruster. Why the fuck do I don't have any gun? Oh yeah, because I suck at it. Miles tried his best to stand on his feet but the winds is much too strong for him cause it'll just blow him away. So Miles has to improvise by stabbing his sword on the roof of the bullhead and use it as a support. Hey! I'm over here. Miles flare his aura to aggro the Grimms and it works as it slowly but surely use their pincers to crawl to him. Miles smirked as he sees that the bullhead is flying much too fast for the Lancer to use their wings because it'll just blow them away. Okay. They can't fly. That's good. But I can't exactly use my sword now cause the wind would blow me away. I really should have gotten a gun because this is stupid. Crow. Prepare yourself. He hoped that Crow can hear Hick because he is going to do something really stupid. Miles reach into his pocket and pull out a couple of fire dust. Try chewing on this, you bugs. He threw the dust to the Lancer and it hit one of them managing to explode its upper body off but that also meant that it fucking rocked the bullhead. Shit. Miles. The fuck did you do? Miles can hear Crow's faint scream. Miles want to reply to Crow but he is currently too busy holding on for dear life. One more to go. Miles then feel the rope start to creaking and sees that the shrapnel from the Grimm's skull had sliced through the rope's side. It's not even a 1-inch slice but it's enough to make the rope snap. Shit. Miles got blown away by the wind because the rope isn't supporting him or his sword anymore. Thankfully with his sword in his hand he could do what he does best. Hunt. Screech. The Grimm screech as it uses its pincers to stab Miles who is flying to it but Miles is faster than it because by the time it had raised its pincers, Miles had cut it into two before he stabbed into the roof of THR Bullhead to stop himself. Holy shit. Miles starts to pants. Not out of exhaustion but out of the fact that he almost fall down from this fucking height. They are above the clouds now. Holy shit. He then slowly used his sword to crawl into the side door and get inside before he quickly shut the door and crumpled to the floor. I ain't fucking doing that again. Miles then let out a sigh as he heard Crow laughs out. Look. Ha 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 ha, you crazy bastard. How the fuck did you survive? I thought I lost you when the rope snapped. Crow looks back at Miles but he quickly put his eye on his front because the bullhead start to tilt. Shit. Hands on the fucking wheel. Miles quickly get back to his seat and put on the seatbelt. I know. Crow then sighs. Shit. We won't make it. Miles let out a sigh. I guess so. We lost an engine and the bullhead is all fucked up. Can you land it in Shade Academy? Crow then nodded. Yeah, I could. But after that we go on foot, either gotta borrow a vehicle from Theodore. Don't think he would be happy with us basically dumping a useless bullhead on his front yard. Yeah. Miles then chuckled. Can't believe I didn't fall off. Crow joined him with a smile on his face. Yeah. And what was the explosion? I almost lost control of the bullhead. Did the lacerations fucked up the other thruster? I didn't got any notification on the control panel. Miles shakes his head before he explained. Nah. That was just me throwing a fire dust at the Grim. Crow's eyes become wide open before he look at Miles. You're one crazy bastard, you know that? No wonder Luna likes to beat some senses into you. I know. But hey. I managed to charm Luna with my dumbassery. I call that a win in my book. Touché, Chapter 31. Pretty sad. Surprisingly. Theodore is happy meeting them. Case in point, he is currently hugging both Crow and Miles in a tight hold while behind him is a couple of his professor. My friend. It's been so long since I seen any of you. He let go of them and pat their back. Here, let me introduce you to my professor. Theodore then walked to a huge man that gotta at least be 7 foot tall and pat his back. This is Professor Sabri, he is our Grim class professor. Professor Sabri give Miles and Crow a nod before Theodore go to a woman and pat her shoulder. And this is our history professor, Professor Adelai. It's a pleasure meeting the both of you. Headmaster Theodore had talks about you two before. She told them, which surprises Miles more than Crow. Miles hadn't been in Vacuo for more a decade. This place brings only pain for him. He only came here if he was forced to like this mission. Really? Well, it's been a pleasure too, to meet you, Professor Adelai. But let me introduce myself, my name is Miles Ark. Miles introduced himself meanwhile Crow is fixing his hair before he greet Adelai with a bow. And my name, my beautiful lady, is Branwen. Crow Branwen. But you can call me Crow, ouch. Crow hold his side in pain as his aura activated to protect him from Miles's elbow, but it didn't do shit against the pain. And, I did my research, aura still makes people feel pain from the impact, just not injuries. Well, they are some minor injuries if the impact is hard enough. What I meant by minor injuries is scratches and bruises, case in point Yang's battle against the paladin. The fuck you do that for? Crow glared at Miles, cause why the fuck is he cock blocking him? Don't he know that a guy want to get laid? Don't he know just how awesome a Vacuon lady is compared to a woman from Vale? Miles sighs before he motioned Crow to get closer, and when he did, Miles then whispered to him. Look at their fingers, you idiot, they're married. Crow's eyes widen in shock before he checked it for himself, and indeed. Those are 2 matching rings. Shit. Crow then slowly looked up at Sabri. Well. My man. I'm sorry for hitting on your wife. Crow silently crosses his fingers because he doesn't want to fight a guy because B couldn't stop running his mouth. Surprisingly, Sabri didn't yell or try to hit Crow. All he did was chuckled softly and shakes his head. Do not be afraid, my friend. I didn't took offense. Who you should be apologizing to is my wife. She is a little bit of a spirited woman. Miles then finally looked to Adalai because he is previously focused on Sabri in case he tried to attack Crow. And damn. Adalai is pissed. If not for Sabri hand on her shoulder, Miles would bet money on her jumping onto Crow and ripping him a new pair of balls. And it looks like Crow also finally looked back to Adalai because he face pales and slowly back away to hide behind Miles, and thanks to Crow much more lean build and slightly shorter stature. It works. A fiery lady and a gentle giant, huh? Well, Shade got its own unique professor. But isn't there supposed to be one more? I know Shade's student population is less than 40 even with all of the years combined. But still, where the hell is the combat professor? Miles pondered to himself before he looked at Theodore. So Theodore, where is the combat professor? Shade couldn't be that short on money that they would be forced to fire the combat professor, right? If they were indeed short on money, then they would had to fire the history professor rather than the combat professor. This is a hunter's school, a combat professor is much more useful than a history one. Theodore let out a tired sigh before he shakes my head. About that, my friend. Sadly, Professor Zane is missing in action about 5 months ago. Bringing up Professor Zane even calmed down Adalai. Yeah. He was a good man. Before he went missing, he was talking about a grim nest. We don't know where he exactly went, but we had tried to look for him everywhere but couldn't find any. All we know is that we lost contact with him around the vicinity of the academy. Crow raised an eyebrow at them before he looked at Theodore, because if he is missing in the vicinity of the academy, did he found the location of where the relic is located? Theodore shakes his head no, because he get what Crow is thinking without Crow needing to say anything to him. Theodore had personally scoured through the location of the relic for any whereabout of Zane, but he couldn't find any tracks or any single sign that would tell him if anyone had been there. Crows know about Zane. He and Zane had meet up a couple of times whenever he goes to Vacuo. A man of his caliber wouldn't go down without a fight. Crow instinct is telling him that Zane isn't missing. He has died. And Crow trusts his instinct. It was what kept him alive for most of the time. Zane was an A-rank hunter. Something that could kill an A-rank hunter without any tell is something that is fearsome. Meanwhile, Miles only offer his condolences to them, not because he himself isn't curious about Zane's mysterious disappearance, but because he never even met the guy before. He would be overstepping his boundaries if he suddenly act as if he know who Zane is. Miles himself would be furious if some stranger suddenly asks about how did his father died and starts asking questions. It would be a different story if the stranger turns out to be his father's old friend. But in this situation, the stranger, Miles, doesn't even fucking how Zane looks like, and if he start asking personal question. As for now, I am the temporary combat instructor until 2 more months where a new professor will be joining us. Theodore then smiled and walked to the bullhead. So my friend, what happened to your bullheaded? There's some damages. Well, damages is an understatement to the word itself. There are gashes from Miles's greatsword. Some holes from also Miles's greatsword and from the Grimm's pincers. The scorched marks from the fire dust. And the destroyed engine/thruster. In the 7-hour flight it got. It's seen more action than some of its comrades. Well, I blame Crow for that. Miles smirked and looked at the offended look at Crow's face. Me? The fuck you meant it was my fault? He raised his eyes defensively over his chest and Theodore let out a chuckle. Is he the one who piloted the bullhead? Theodore would take this chance to fuck with Crow because it's funny seeing Crow like this. Miles nodded. Yeah, he was the one who piloted it. I had to rescue us alone by myself. Wait. Me piloting it doesn't mean that I automatically the one at fault here. Crow panicked even more. It isn't his fault. It actually is, he didn't do shit. It is technically correct. His semblance did it. How would he even know that Lancer could fly that high? They should had never been attacked by Grimm. Well, that is true. But again, his semblance caused it. Miles and Theodore look at each other before they chuckled. Come on, my friends, let's talk in my office. Theodore then started to walk ahead and both Miles and Crow followed him. You scared my students, you know. My students never thought that what could basically be a flaming meteor crash landed. Hey. I didn't crash it. On my front yard at 2 a.m. in the morning. Theodore glanced back at them before he led them into his private office. Come in, just sit anywhere you like, my friend. Miles and Crow start to get comfortable with Crow sitting on the windowsill and Miles sitting on a couch. So what brings you here, my friend? Theodore asked them and Crow and Miles look at each other before they look back at Theodore. We are searching for a maiden. Crow revealed to Theodore. A maiden? From my knowledge the only maiden that was here was the Fall Maiden. And even then it's almost 2 decades since she last stepped foot in Vacuo. Theodore and look at Miles. Is she here? Well, we are not exactly sure about if she is here. But Crow had looked all over Sanus and Anima. This is the only place she could be at. Miles then sighs and leaned back on his seat. Because Today is my father's death anniversary. Oh. Theodore then stays silent for a few more seconds before he talks again. Whatever help you need, my friend, I'll give it to you. I need something to replace the line break. How about some emoji? Like id equals smiley face equals unspecified currency. That's a pretty good sword emoji. Next line break Imma used that until I got a better sword emoji or some shit. The ride to the ruined town was in silence. Crow wanted to start a conversation so many times but he shut his mouth knowing that this place brings bad memories for his friend. Before they got on the off-road car that Theodore had lent them, Crow offered to drive it to the town but sadly he doesn't know where the two exactly is. All he knows is that it was once a small town in the desert before it was destroyed 17 years ago, only leaving a handfuls of survivors in its ruins. Crow looks at Miles and sees him focused on driving but his hands. It's gripping onto the wheels like the wheels owed him money or some shit, all white-knuckled grip. The drive took them about 3 hours and Crow had to kill a few Grimms that tried to attack them and Crow is slightly unnerved at how silent Miles is. Crow feels sorry to Luna and her children if this is what they had to put up with every day of the week, 'cause goddamn. Seriously depressed Miles is scary Miles. Is this why they had so many kids? Because Luna want to cure his depression with fucking? He wouldn't put it past Luna 'cause as good as a healer she is. She is not a certified doctor or even a psychiatrist. Or even a therapist. In Crow's opinions, Luna's semblance is so good that she doesn't exactly need a lot of medical knowledge to heal injuries, but compared to a doctor? Her medical knowledge is lacking. In the distant Crow can see something that Crow could only interpret as what used to be a town 'cause goddamn. There's almost nothing there. Just a few ruined buildings covered by sands. There's not even a sign nearby, probably because it was destroyed in that battle years ago. Crow doesn't exactly know about what happened that day, all he knows now is that Miles's father died because of a new species of sentient Grimm. A night Grimm, that was how Anbar and Miles described them. It can talk. They both said that the night Grimm can talk. Crow chalked it up to it being one of Salem's creation but Ashban's reaction doesn't give him with much hope. Ashban asked him and the others in the inner circle to leave the room and they did, leaving Ashban and the two injured alone in that room. They can't hear about what they were talking about in the room but when Ashban came out. It's with a melancholic and knowing look in his eyes. Like he knows something that none of them known. Which is true most if not all of the time. That bastard had lived way too long for anyone could ever fuck ating dreamed off. He probably got secrets on top of secrets on top of secrets. Crow's musing got cut off when the cars stop and Miles get out of the car with Crow following just behind. Crow wanted to say something but he stopped when he sees that in the distance, that there is a campfire and there is cloaked figure sitting next to it. When they got closer to the figure, Crow is slightly suspicious of it but Miles walked on ahead before she casually sit down next to it on the log. Anbar. Miles greeted the cloaked figure who is now revealed as Anbar, the Fall Maiden. Anbar then took off the hood from her head and smiled at Miles. Miles. It's been a while. Crow decided to stand nearby as to not disturb this private moment with his, let's just say, unique personality. Yeah. It's been 17 years now. I think the last time we saw each other was on the hospital bed. Miles then chuckled and Anbar followed suit with a chuckle of her own. Yeah. 17 years. It's been a long 17 years. Anbar then looked at the fire. So how is life, Miles? How is Saffron and Artoria? Life had been good to me, Anbar. I got 8 children now. Miles' words made Anbar's eyes widen before Miles continued speaking. Saffron is doing good too. She is going to become a doctor. And Artoria had joined Atlas Academy to become a hunter or a part of Atlas military. I don't know which one is her plan but I know that she will succeed in any of them. Anbar then hummed. Tell me about the others. Well. My third oldest is Mordred. She's a spitfire. Just like me when I was her age. All fire and spirit. Jean. She is gentle and kind and a prodigy too. Most of my children's are prodigies. And then I have the twins, Noir and Blanchard. Their personality is the exact opposite of each other. While Noir is energetic and just so full of life that unfortunately made her the loudest of my children. Blanchard is different. She's quiet. Shy. She preferred to be inside her own room alone and sleeping if not for her twin dragging her outside to play. Miles then tapped his finger on his thigh. And then the youngest. Her name is Olivia. Well. She is like Noir in a way. But she doesn't talk much and is too adventurous for her own good. One time Luna put down Olivia on the ground so she can do the dishes. 6 minutes later when Luna turned back, she found Olivia on top of the fridge. Miles then laughed softly. Miles. As much I love hearing you talk about your children. I only counted 7. Who is the last one? Anbar doesn't need to be a genius to know that there must be a reason that Miles is leaving out one of his children. I know. I was leaving him as the last one. Miles then let out a tired sigh. His name is John. Anbar's eyes widen in slight surprise and her heart starts to ache because she hoped that she misheard about the name. John? Anbar's eyes glistened with tears. No. John. Jayuni. Luna named him after my father. Miles then looked at Anbar's and reached out to hold her hand. My father would love him, Anbar. He is everything Dad ever wanted in a son. Miles' eyes is wet with tears and he shake his head to stop himself from crying. Miles. Anbar hold his hand tighter. I failed him as a father, Anbar. God fuck I failed him. Anbar then reach out to pull Miles into a hug. Hey. Come on. Don't cry. You didn't failed anyone, Miles. Anbar pat his back. But I did, Anbar. I failed him. All he ever wanted was to become a hunter. That is his dream. But I took it away. I took it away because whenever I sees him, as see the face of my father, Anbar. Miles' revelation made her eyes widen, but she hold him tighter. He looked just like him. I still have pictures of my dad when he was John's age. And God fuck Anbar. It's like looking at the same person. He hold her tighter. I don't want him to die. And because of what I did. One of my daughter hated me and I don't even feel worthy of his forgiveness. Anbar then continued to comfort Miles. Miles. Come on. He forgive you, did he not? Miles nodded at him. Then it's okay then. If he is as good as you say, then he would understand why you do what you had done. Anbar then let out a sigh. Is what you did right? No. And yes. What you did is something a parent should had never done to their child. You took away his dreams. But you also did what every parent should had do. You did your best to protect him. She then chuckled and let go of him and pulled away from the hug. I really want to talk more about your children with you, Miles. But unfortunately, I don't think I have much time left. Anbar revealed with a sigh as she sit tiredly. Miles' eyes widen before he wipes his tears. What? What are you talking about? I'm old, Miles. And I lost so many people I cared about in this long 70 years. She then look at Miles and hold his hand. I'm tired, Miles. I want to rest. I want to see him again. But, no buts, Anbar cut him off. Please. Let me rest, Miles. I had died so many years ago. I'm just staying alive for the past 17 years because I have a responsibility to do so. She then looked to her side and called out to Crow. Kid. Come here. Crow then sighs before he walks over to Anbar. You're the Crow that Ashbin sent to watch me these past few years, are you not? Anbar asked Crow with a knowing look in her eyes. Crow wanted to ask about how she knows about his ability to turn into a crow. But he decided not to, considering that she is a 70-year-old maiden. She probably can sense him when he is perched on a tree or some shit. Yeah. Tell the old bastard that he doesn't need to search for the next fall maiden. I already trained her for the past 5 years to shoulder the burden of being one. Both Miles and Crow's eyes widen, Miles because he didn't think about what would happen when a maiden dies cause he is too focused at the fact that Anbar is going to die, and Crow because he didn't expect that Anbar had already prepared a replacement. Hopefully she would tell them about where the new maiden will be. So. Where is she then? Crow asked her, in which it resulted in both Miles and Anbar glaring at him. Fuck off, kid. I ain't gonna tell you who she is or where she is. I won't turn her into a prisoner. She then looked back to the campfire. Because that is what I am. A prisoner to Ashbin. Before enough say shit, I know. I know that Ashbin meant well. But it is still wrong at the same time. You can't turn someone into a glorified prisoner just because she is a maiden. She then sighed. So no. I'm not telling you anything. She's strong enough to fight anyone who is trying to hunt her. And she promised me to use the power as sparingly as possible. Well. It's worth a shot. Crow grumbled to himself. Miles then reached out to hold her hand. When? In a few more minutes, Miles. I already drank the potion 10 minutes before you came here. She then hold Miles's hand tighter. I miss him, Miles. God. I love him so much that it hurts thinking about him. She then start to cry, and it's not Miles' turn to hug her tight and hold her. Anbar. I never seen him as happy as he was when he was with you. He love you too, Anbar. Miles revealed to Anbar, and she cried harder. Oh, John. You stupid bastard. Why did you had to leave me? She tightened her hold on Miles. I love you. I fucking love you. And you just had to leave me. Why is it you? Why? Miles continued to hold her until she calmed down. Thank you, Miles. Thank you. John would have been proud for you. She then kissed his forehead before her body started to glow orange and flakes away until her body slowly disappeared like golden dust in the winds, leaving Miles and Crow alone on the campfire. Smiley face unspecified currency. Lancel. Can you help me with delivering this to Ozma? A blond young man asked his dearest friend for help as he looked over some papers on his table. You do not need to ask, my king, I will do as you orders. A purple-haired man walked to his king and take the papers. Consider it done. When Lancel opened the door to deliver a paper, back away a few steps cause a brown-haired missile had launched herself into him. Your Highness. The brown-haired missile turns out to be a 11-year-old girl. Lancel. I didn't know it was you. Where is he? She then get off him and start to bounce on her feet, which resulted in Lancel letting out a soft chuckle. Well, Your Highness, if you were to look behind me, you would see that His Majesty is behind me. He then stepped to the side, revealing the king looking at them with a smile. Hello there. There you are. The brown-haired girl then ran up to him and jumped over the table before she crashed onto his body, making him fall of the chair. Ouch! She exclaimed dramatically as if the king hadn't caught her and made sure that it's his body that hit the ground. That hurt. She started to pummel her fist at his chest. Okay. Okay. My fault. He then carry her and stand up, but just as he tried to put her down on the floor, she shakes her head and start to squirm. No. I want you to carry me. She then squeals in excitement when follow her request and princess carry her. Is this okay, Fall? The young man asked her as he walked to the balcony with her in his arms. Hey. I heard that you are planning to get married soon. She pouted at him, which resulted in him chuckling. Yeah. I guess I am. And why are you pouting? I thought you would be happy. He asked her and she answers him by shaking her head. No. Why would I be happy that my big brother will marry some strange princess from God knows where? She pout even harder. Some strange princess. Well. I guess I should tell her that next time you practice magic with her then. Let's see what she have to say then. He revealed a hint to her in which she instantly locked onto, and after a few seconds her eyes lit up with magic as elemental flare lit up on the corner of her eyes. Wait. 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 You're marrying her. The Witch of the Tower herself. And when he nodded, she got extremely excited. Yay! My brother is marrying the strongest witch in the world. Woo! After a few seconds she calmed down and looked up at him nervously. You won't leave me or the others, right? She asked him softly as if she fears what his answer would be. No, of course not. Why would you think like that? I would never leave you. All four of you are my little sisters. Mom and Dad promised me to never leave you girls. He then chuckled. And you know me. Whenever I give my word, you would never take it back. She continued it for him. Have I ever tell you about how much I love all of you? He asked her and kissed her forehead. Of course. You practically tell that to us every day. Well, I didn't think I say it enough then. He then hummed and looked onto his kingdom. I also love all of them too, you know. Each one of them. They are my people. My love. My banner will protect them. My sword will fight for them. And my scabbard will be their safe haven. Fall nodded and looked out at the view of their kingdom. I know. All of them know that you are the best king they could have ever asked for. And you're the best big brother I could ask for. John. John wake up with a gasp as it feels like his heart had been stabbed. Asterisk gasp asterisk what is happening? He grit his teeth as his hold his chest in pain and roll out of the bed and fall to the floor. He then tried to manually activate his aura and it activated, but it doesn't help with the pain. His heart hurts so much that he wants to cry out in pain. Someone is dying. He doesn't know who, but someone is dying. And it's hurting him. It hurts. My heart. It hurts. Help. Mordred. Chapter 32. It's been a day since Miles had to go away for his mission when Luna got a call from him early in the morning about how he is going home today. She should be happy that Miles is coming home early. She should. But she couldn't bring herself to be happy when she heard his voice. The last time his voice sounded like that was 2 nights ago when he revealed to her about the real reason of why he stopped John's training. She have a big feeling that she would had to arrange another family trip to try and cheer up Miles. Yesterday picnic trip was supposed to cheer up Miles, but unfortunately Ashbin is being a bastard and just had to ruin her plan. Why does he need Miles to search for a missing maiden for? Doesn't he have his own people to do that? Miles may be close to Anbar, but it's almost been 17 years since they last saw each other. Miles wouldn't magically know about where Anbar would be just because they were close years ago. Sigh. Luna let out a sigh before she pick up her scroll and open it to see today's date, cause she want to arrange a trip to the beach to take Miles' mind off whatever had happened on his mission. When she look at today's date, her eyes widen before she put the scroll down. That explains a lot of things. What it explain, you may ask? Today is John's death anniversary. Miles is always depressed at this time of the year. Not that she can blame him, having to hold on to your father as he died could make anyone depressed. She should know that there is something more going on when Miles stopped John's training, but now it's in the past. If she can slap her past self, then she would. Thankfully after that day, John never bring up anything about becoming a hunter again. When usually that was all he would ever talk about. How he want to be a great hunter just like his dad. And his dad's dad. Which doesn't help with Miles' trauma. She herself can attest that after the death of his father, it took Miles about 7 to 8 months before he got a little better. And that is only because of Artoria being born, and he had to slap himself awake because he now have another child to take care of. As for Saffron, well, in those months that he was depressed, he tried his best with Saffron. But she can tell that he isn't his usual self. Thankfully by the time that she was pregnant with Mordred, he had come back to his usual self. So, planning on arranging a trip. How would she do that today? She probably gonna look at the schedule of her kids first, Saffron most importantly. She doesn't want Saffron to fail an exam because the day that she was out of school was the day where an exam took place or an important subject was being distributed by the teachers. Yesterday Luna was lucky because Saffron's school was flooded cause one of the students there had pulled the fire alarm and unfortunately broke most of the appliance there. They give the students a day off. She opened her scroll again and look at the day, and thankfully, it is Thursday. Miles probably need a whole day to relax at home after this mission, and on Saturday they can go to the beach. Speaking of beaches, the kids thankfully also love swimming. Well, not Mordred. If it's snorkeling then she can do it, but if she is floating on top of the water and the wave is slightly too strong for her, well, the whole ocean gonna be in range from what Mordred liked to call her splash zone. She wonder how Mordred would fare in her future career as a hunter. She gotta fight on a vehicle someday. Luna herself had experienced fighting on top of a moving vehicle. Well, now that she thinks about it, Mordred could probably win that kind of fight by vomiting on the Grims. Speaking of Grims, it's been a while since she last saw any. I think the last time she saw a Grim was almost a half-decade ago when Mountain Glen fell and she had to volunteer as a healer. It was the first and hopefully the last time she had seen so many corpses left behind. That is a tragedy. A massacre. No other word to say about it. She had used her semblance hundreds of times and had depleted her aura at least more than a dozen in the span of 5 days. 5 days of running with only caffeine or energy drinks. Thankfully Saffron and Artoria was old enough to take care of their siblings, and the people in the town was kind enough to help the kids with anything they needed. She have a feelings it was John's doing. 'Cause from what she knows, out of all of her children, the only one who help around the town is only John and Mordred if he dragged her. Luna once asked him about why does he do what he had done. Because they are basically strangers to him and he was a child. Shouldn't he be playing video games with Mordred or play with his friends? Smiley face unspecified currency. Luna watch from the porch as her husband mow the lawn and the rest of the children are playing with each other or just simply minding their own business. Saffron. Where is your brother? She asked Saffron, who is currently also on the porch snacking on some fruits. John? The last time I saw him was 2 hours ago. He was with Artoria. Saffron replied back to her mother. Is there something wrong? Luna shakes her head. No. There isn't anything wrong. I'm just looking for your brother. That's all. She then roamed her eyes and looked for Artoria until she found her, who is currently looking over her younger sisters as they play near a tree. Artoria. Come here for a second. She called out to her and Artoria nodded at her before she say something to Jean and the twins and walk up to her. What is it, mother? Artoria asked her in her usual disciplined personality, which Luna have no idea where it came from. Maybe it's from her parents? 'Cause neither Miles or his parents are disciplined. But she couldn't say for sure if Artoria's personality comes from Luna's parents, considering that she is an orphan, while tilting her head to the side, and Luna would say that the strand of hair that jutted out of her head is really cute. She sometimes wonder about the reason